Okay, I guess I'll call the meeting to order. Tonight is December 15th, 2025, and this is the Wolfeboro Budget Committee, and we're at the Wolfeboro Public Library. And tonight we'll be talking about general government, which include the executive, town manager, town clerk, assessing, tax collector, personal administration, miscellaneous executive operating expenses, health officer, debt service, legal expenses, health insurance, and property liability insurance, and also planning and zoning and finance. You folks are joining the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know where the flag went. Oh, okay. There it is. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Okay, I'll open it up for public comment. Okay, seeing that this time, we'll move on. Jim, do you have anything that you need to speak to us before we get started?
I believe that you all received copies of the updated letter to DRA for your review. I'd like to be able, it's an agenda item from tomorrow night. I'd like for the Budget Committee to consider it and decide whether or not you would like to sign it or not, so that we can have the Select Board sign it on Wednesday night and get it to DRA by the end of the week. Financially right now, as far as we approach the end of the year, we're not in really terrible shape. However, I can sit here and say that Mother Nature's played some games on us over the past couple weeks, and these storms are expensive to deal with. So while I don't anticipate having to use the full 377, I do anticipate that we are going to go over budget if we do not ask for this authorization to overexpend, all really relative to the assessment for healthcare, which was at 12%. So that's the gist of that. I will have more details and speak to you tomorrow night on it with further backup. And if you have questions, I can try to answer them now. Other than that, Mr. Chairman, that's all I have.
Should that be posted on agenda? I don't see it on here.
I think it's on the agenda for tomorrow night.
Yes.
That's what I just saw today.
Okay, great.
I amended the agenda and sent it to Amy to post.
Thank you.
That's the agenda.
Question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Is that, and Mr. Town Manager, does the letter require our signatures?
So it does,
It would be nice if we
because we have an official budget committee.
Yep.
It requires your signatures
Okay.
for DRA to say, okay, we are going to entertain this.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before we get started? Okay, seeing none, let's move into the executive.
So in the executive budget, Mr. Chairman, I just would like to clarify one item. In the part-time wages, it says Chamber of Commerce. That is the town employee that works at the information booth out of the Chamber of Commerce, so the individual is a town employee, not a chamber employee. I just wanted to make that clear.
That's in the 100-200 series?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
And that's 17 hours a week? Is that what that is?
17 hours a week, that is correct.
And that's 15, going to be 1566
Yep.
an hour. Any questions of the 100 and 200 series? Those are the series that deal with salaries and benefits. Seeing none, let's move on to the 300 series, which is outside services, cable channel, Wolfeboro Community TV.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Line 381. I see a select board adjustment there for $50,000, and I'm not kind of, it doesn't seem to track over to the Unismart documents, and I'm kind of wondering, is there a reduction or not, or what's going on with
So there is a reduction here. One of the things that is challenging with this UniSmart report, if you look at it, it has, because it only allows for 7 columns, it doesn't have the town manager column in it. So when they had originally came to me in the town manager column, it had that increase in it, and then it got backed out.
So the net is 105.
Correct, which is the same as last year, level funded.
So last year was a default budget, the year prior was a default budget. How is Wolfeboro Community TV? I know we heard some words earlier on that they were having some funding issues. Are we gonna have a WCTV or not?
We are gonna have a WCTV, is my understanding. They've taken a very, I don't wanna say aggressive stance, but they've taken a very strong stance on their fundraising, and they've been actually very successful.
Okay.
So they are in the process of reinventing themselves and what they deliver to the community as franchise fees continue to fall off.
Okay, thank you.
Bobby?
I have a question on that. Sam, do you have the amount of the revenue that came in to offset that?
I can look that up.
Thank you. And then my other question on that is when they presented before the select board, a comment was made by the officers, one of the officers, that we're paying $350 per hour to have them do our taping of our town meetings, yet this is a section where we also see Brenda and others who are receiving salaries to take notes and address this. I'm wondering if there has been any type of communication figuring out how to get this cost of $350 per hour down on videotaping our meetings.
No, I think that's a conversation that really needs to take place with Wolfeboro Community TV as we move into the future. You know, the original conversation that I had with them in my office when they first asked for the increase, I think they were $500 and something an hour. You know, and the takeaway is, you know, as the franchise fees do continue to fall off, you know, they're gonna try to fundraise, but at the end of the day, it's gonna be you use, you pay type of scenario until such a time that we as a town decide, no, we want to do something different, or do we want to continue to have Wolfeboro Community TV be the fabric of the community delivering that message.
So Bobby, to answer your question, in 2025, we received $101,147.53.
Okay,
And in 24, it was $108,500.
okay.
And then 23 was $117,375. So it's just continually dropping.
Okay,
Yeah.
So those are the franchise fees
Correct.
yeah,
that we get once a year from the vendor.
Correct.
Thank you.
okay.
That's $350 an hour, Jim. When do you think that's gonna come? When's that gonna come? When will that happen?
I haven't spoken with them in a little while, John, so I
Okay.
would have to refresh on that to have another conversation with them. I think that they're looking at that hourly rate model as what they're gonna do going forward, but I need to have more conversations with them.
Okay, but no worries for this year. We're not gonna be
I
surprised
don't
or
think we
anything.
have worries this year.
Thank you. Okay, we all set with the 300 series? So let's move on to the 400, and that's just, all that is, looks like heat and oil. Any questions on the heating and oil? Okay. 500 series, that includes printing costs, which is the town report, the voter's guide, stationery, and other outside printing, dues and subscriptions, New Hampshire annual dues, 3% increase new rate provided, I guess, to the town in November from the New Hampshire Municipal Association. And then we've got some advertising for public hearings, legal notices, and boards and committee notices, and also some bidding notices. Any questions on the 500 series? That 560, Jim, that's just for New Hampshire Municipal? The 12,201?
Correct.
Where might I find the money that we need to pay for the coalition in order to fight?
That's in legal.
It's in legal? Okay, thank you. Anything on the 500? Okay. Let's move on to the 600, which includes office supplies, postage, books and periodicals. Any questions on the 600? Okay, 800 series, that's travel and meetings, professional development, Heritage Commission, awards events, training materials, public events to share. Milfold treatment includes the chemical treatments and hand pulling, Lake Coast program, Wolfeboro waters, test strips, UNH tests, an intern, and also get some analysis of the samples, stream gauging, mitigation and prevention. And then we've got the Energy Committee, membership fee for the Clean Energy New Hampshire, Local Energy Solution Conference, electric charging station maintenance, and there's also it looks like an offsetting revenue of $800 on that particular line item, which is line 873. Any questions on anything to do with the 800 series?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
line 870. The reduction in the milfoil treatment from 23,400 to 17,500, is that the chemical treatment going away? What's the deal here?
I would actually ask if, Linda, would you speak to that?
Yeah, that is, we're not going to do any chemical treatment. We did one last year, and that does not have any. Did you get it? Is there a sheet in the backup sheet for this?
No, I'm looking at the backup,
Okay.
says milfoil treatment, chemical treatment, 0, hand pulling 16,000.
Yeah,
and
so
Lake
there's
Coast
no
program.
chemical. That's the difference. When it goes really up is when we put in the chemical, and then we hand pull as long as we can until we have it in again. And we had very little regrowth in the last summer.
Good, thank you.
Excuse me.
Bobby?
Can I just ask a quick question with 3 select board members in the room? Do we have any type of illegal quorum here, or?
I hadn't noticed
It was
before I
noticed.
showed up.
Thank you.
Any questions on the 800 series? Okay, that's on the executive. An increase of, looks like $3,183 for 1.4%. For the total asking of $235,839. Any questions from the executive before we move on to town manager?
Yes, I do have one.
Yes, sir?
Quick observation. You may recall when we had the Public Works Department in last week, I was caterwauling a lot about the distribution of Steve Winter's salary across the 3 departments that he's responsible for.
Yes.
And his salary is all in one place. I come to look at all these general fund items, and I see, well, the one person I see very obviously is Leanne, spread about 3 different ways. So why are we not consistent with our handling of clerical and supervisory salaries and spreading them properly to the cost centers they work in? Went through this last week, and I'd like to just get that question on the table.
So you did go through that last week. I apologize for not being here. Sam is working out those calculations. My recollection from a couple years ago was that this budget committee wanted to see the salary for the director be handled through the administrative allocation process, and that's what we've been trying to do the past couple of years. We heard your message the other day. We're working that through now. You'll be getting updated spreadsheets reflecting a percentage in the water, a percentage in the sewer, and a percentage in the highway administration.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Those, I think I sent them to you, Leanne.
You did, but
last
I've
week.
been away. I've been out of
Okay,
state.
okay,
And I
yeah.
just returned.
Perfect.
So,
Okay, let's move on to the town manager salary, the town manager budget, actually. That's 100, 200 series. That includes his salary and also benefits. Any questions on that? Okay, let's move on to 311, which is Alliance for Consultants, and also telephone. Yes, sir.
Question, John. The telephone in all the departments appears to have been moved to the one IT thing, is that correct? So all of the phone costs everywhere in the Wolfeboro world are ending up in one bucket? Is that,
We've been trying to, again, that's an item we've been trying to do for 2 years.
Right.
With the default budget, it keeps falling back into the calculation.
Okay.
So here we are again this year, asking you to put that into the IT and back it out of the,
so if we finally pass the budget, we'll get where we're supposed to be getting to?
you got it.
Thank you.
Okay, 500 series, which is printing and dues and subscriptions. Any questions on the 500 series? The 600 series, office supplies and postage. Any questions on that? Okay. Now the 800, that includes travel and meetings and professional development. Okay, that's it on the town manager's budget.
John, one
Yes, sir.
quick question. Jim, so that means that line 341 will disappear from all the other departments and then it'll only show up in IT if everything goes the way we hope it does?
Correct.
Thank you.
We'll keep it there for a couple years, so you can see the history going back,
Gotcha.
but it'll eventually
All right, good.
completely fall away.
Thank you.
Okay, we all saw that. Jim, what's the, what are your numbers there? What's your decrease or increase? You have that right there on your,
On the town manager's
Yeah.
budget? Yeah,
5.8.
5.81% increase, 13,356.
thank you. Okay, if we're all set on the town manager, let's move to the town clerk.
John,
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we continue this to when we have the town clerk in this room who can answer for her budget, as the town manager does not oversee the town clerk.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion. I'd like to make a motion to continue this until the town clerk is in the room to answer for her budget.
And is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, I don't understand what she's doing. I heard her, but I don't.
Okay, she wants to skip over or postpone looking at the town clerk budget until Pat's available to attend.
Oh, okay.
Jim, do you have any comments on that?
Bobby is absolutely right. I have no real authority whatsoever over this, but you do have selectmen in the room who do oversee the town clerk's office. So I guess it's your discretion as to how you'd like to handle it.
Okay. Any more discussion?
All I can say is that we did scrutinize her budget. Her budget was reduced as all departments were reduced. Her budget is, I think, a fairly reasonable 3.8% increase. So it's up to the committee if the committee wants to continue, but I'm comfortable with her budget.
I think what we're not comfortable with, at least I'm not, I can't speak for Bobby, but since I seconded it, I'll voice my opinion. Since every other every other department manager shows up for their budget presentations, I see no reason why the town clerk shouldn't show up for hers.
That sounds fair.
Well, we were assigned to general government, and she did come in to go over it with us. And did you see anything in it that you had a problem with?
No, but
John?
I think it's important that she's here because she is an elected official.
Yes.
That's fair.
I know that I have questions about the budget, and I know there are questions that the town manager cannot answer, which is why I made the motion.
Okay, thank you. Any other discussion? Can you do a roll call vote, please, Leanne?
Yes. Bobby Budman?
Yes.
Bob Lohman?
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan?
No,
John McDonald?
Yes.
Bob Mulholland?
No.
Brian DeShays?
Yes.
So.
4-2, right?
4-2-0,
Yeah. So-
passes.
Okay, when will, Leanne, when do you think we can fit it into our schedule so we can post that?
I'll just email her and, I mean, she can come anytime. I mean, according to our schedule. We have time on the 30th. The 16th shouldn't take long. The police, communications, and library,
I'm gonna suggest that we push it to the 30th.
30th.
And the reason for that is, and I don't know the timeline right now, but we have, with our neighbors in Ossipee and Tofton Borough, sent a letter requesting a special election, and if there is a primary, we may have to budget that. So I would suggest we push it to the 30th.
Actually, yeah, I just realized that the police are coming tomorrow night, and I can't post, I wouldn't meet the posting
You have time.
requirements, so.
Right.
Okay, so we'll put it on for the,
30th.
hopefully the 30th.
Okay, I'll confirm with her.
Can you send her also an email inviting her from the budget committee? Thank you. Okay, so we'll go past the town clerk. And we'll move into assessing.
So Todd's here. He'll give you a quick overview of the revaluation which has taken place prior to getting into the budget. Todd, you want to
Sure.
summarize that?
The revaluation that happened by Constitution this year, the results were an aggregate increase of 93%, and that includes the exempts and all that, but a total of 93% increase. Statistics all look pretty good, acceptable. I think we're at 96 or 97% assessment to value ratio of the 260 sales we use as benchmarks. And coefficient of dispersion is about 8% of the median, which is pretty good. So, one thing to note is the town in aggregate went up 93%, but not every property changed at that rate. That's why we did this, is because over time, different types of property change in value at different rates. So that's the real reason why we did the reassessment, is to bring everybody back into that type of continuity. Be happy to answer questions if you have any.
I have one, Bob. Across the board, would you say in your expertise, the assessment and reevaluation, does that put virtually all of the houses, domiciles in the town and the buildings within the sale range?
Yes, so the market value is defined by the Assessing Standards Board and the International Association of Assessing Officers at between 90 and 110%. So it's kind of a broad brush. So we're at 97%, and the coefficient of dispersion is that percentage above or below that is an average that most of those sales come in. It's 8%. So you could find some of those to be at 105% and some to be at 89% or something like that. But statistically, we're at market value.
Oh, all right, so the high-low could be as much as 20%?
That's an acceptable level, is up to 20%.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Todd about the reassessment? And that's required by law every 5 years, right?
Yes, in Constitution.
Okay, let's move on to the 100 and 200 series, which is salaries and benefits. We have one employee, Jim?
One full-time employee.
Full-time employee. Any questions on the salaries and benefits of that employee? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into the 300 series, which includes the telephone. Again, that's been moved to IT. The assessor's hours, Granite Hill Municipal Services, abatement processing, Granite Hill Municipal Services, assessing pickups, cylindrical data collection, and other purchase services. Any questions on anything in the 300 series?
I have one, John.
Yes, Bobby?
On the 382, the abatement processing, did that go up because we reevaluated and more people are asking?
No.
With anticipation that you'll have a lot more abatements, I would imagine.
Okay, thank you.
Question,
Maybe
Jeff?
just, maybe just tell a little bit how a person files an abatement so the folks know.
So the abatement process, you have until March 1st of the following year after the tax bill is issued. It's a 4-page form. It's generated by the Board of Tax and Land Appeals. It's fairly simple. As long as you have it in or postmarked by March 1st, it's considered timely. Just one thing to remember is the onus is on the taxpayer to provide some proof that what we say their property's worth, it isn't. So we've basically done, we've told everyone what we think their property's worth. Now the ball's in their court to say, well, no, we think you're wrong and here's why. And that's fine. I mean, I'm perfectly happy giving the taxpayers a little bit of homework or guidance, and you know, this is what I'd like to see if you want to be prevalent.
And that's March 1st of 2026?
26, yes.
I've got a question.
Yes, go ahead.
When you send over to the selectmen, who are the assessors quote from the statutory angle, do you give them backup information when it says abatement for such and such lot? Do you give them backup information as to your reasoning why you gave them the abatement?
So I usually write a 1-page, you know, here's the general information on why the taxpayer is seeking abatement. Here's what we found, and here's our recommendation. So I usually attach it to the file, the working file that I have, so it's available if they want to see it. But it usually comes in a one-page summary.
Thank you.
Bob?
I just had one question, kind of a broad brush question on all of the assessor's hours, abatement processing, assessing pickups, all this stuff. Is this all related to the 5-year reevaluation, or is it are these ongoing costs on an annual basis?
Those are ongoing. You have a contract for general assessing, which is basically the administration of the assessing, and then in the year of the reassessment, you have a separate contract for the revaluation.
Okay. So there is an annual cost to do quarterly reviews and all that kind of
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Yes, Suzanne.
How long is your contract for?
The end of next year. It was 5 years.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on to the 490 series, which is tax map maintenance, C-cord printing and recording. Any questions on those? Seeing none, 500 series includes printing, dues and subscriptions, and advertising. Any questions there? Okay, 600 series includes office supplies, postage, and uniforms. And that's per the AFSCAM contract on the uniforms. Those are required under the contract. Any questions under the 600 series? Okay, 800, travel and meetings and professional development. All stuff there, okay. Okay, the total budget for request for 2026 is 104,861. Is that right? Is that the right number that you have, Jim? Well, actually 172 including the salaries.
Correct.
172,674, which is $13,217 increase, or 8.3%. Anything with the assessing? Anything else? Okay. We'll move on. Thank you for coming in, Todd.
All right, thank you.
Okay, let's move into the tax collector.
So, tax collector's office, one of the things that you'll observe when you go through this budget, Brenda had some attrition over the past, 14, 16 months or so. She was very agreeable during the course of the year to allow us to hold off in filling that position as part of the default budget process, and to be able to accommodate some of the other items that needed to be funded in the budget. In doing such, the office experienced some challenges, such as difficulty in staff being able to take time off, bless you, in addition to doing some reconciliation, which resulted in them closing the office down on Thursday afternoons so that they could do that. One of the promises that I did make to Brenda when we did this was we would advertise a position in December. That position is advertised. We're hopeful to get to full strength sometime in January to February, with the caveat that we get a budget passed. So she'll be able to answer questions relative to the budget. She runs a tight budget, and can answer those questions for you as we go through it.
Anything you want to say, Brenda, before we start? Anything about how the office is going, or any problems? Or?
No, it's just been a challenging year with usually an office of 4. We've been an office of 3. But the staff that I do have has really bucked up and done a wonderful job. And the public has also been pretty understanding too, for the most part, except for maybe Thursdays not being able to get dump stickers. So.
Okay, thank you. 100 and 200 series, which again is the salary and benefits. Are all your members, all your employees union members or some non-union members?
Yes, they're all union members.
They are, okay.
Yes.
Any questions on the salaries and
I have
benefits?
one question.
Yes, Bobby.
At any point, do you share staff where the clerk's office allows you to use their staff for dump stickers or tax collecting, or
No.
is there no, there's
No.
absolutely no?
No.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, 200 series, again, the telephone's been moved to the IT budget. Outside services, biller access for online services, rejected payments, independent mortgage, search, recording fees, and record restoration.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Line 380, outside services, biller access fee for online services. Could you kind of tell me what that is? I don't-
Sure, that's,
don't understand.
we have, for the tax collector, we use Invoice Cloud to collect online payments, and we pay $50 a month to be able to use that service, or view any payments, things like that.
Does that also, service also pay for people that are doing online payments on their electric bills and water bills? Not
No,
only
that's a separate payment service,
Okay.
and there is no charge to us for that, other than what is included with our software,
Okay. So this is just for property tax?
just property
Okay,
taxes.
thank you.
Bobby?
Just a quick question on that. You do receive revenue though, because that hits us on our side. What's the offset of revenue on that? Like I get a 40-cent charge, or, with my tax bill, I think it's $3.80 or something. What's that offset
That
revenue on
is
that?
charged by the service itself to the people
So that
using
doesn't
it.
come to the town?
No.
Okay,
No.
thanks.
Okay, let's move on to the 400 series, which is office equipment maintenance. This includes printing, tax bills and envelopes, water sewer bills and envelopes, electric bill and envelopes, miscellaneous printing. We've also got some dues and subscriptions to the New Hampshire Tax Collectors Association and some advertising. Any questions on the 500 series?
I just have one.
Yeah.
So with more people going online, is that why that is coming down?
The printing?
Yeah.
That has something to do with it, yes, but the service that we currently use, their rates are a little bit cheaper for the actual printing than the previous service that we had.
Well, I will go on record with you, as I always have every single year, to encourage everybody to go online and pay your bills online and reduce costs in the tax collector's department. It is really convenient.
Jim, she gets some money back for the bills, sending out the bills and the envelopes for water and electric, right? Is that part of the,
The administrative allocation,
it's part of that? Okay,
correct.
thank you. Okay, 600 series, which is office supplies. Also postage for tax bills, water and sewer bills, electric bills, delinquent tax notice, tax lien and deed notices, mortgage notices, utility disconnect, and other notices. And we've got the annual post office box fee. Then we've also got some safety equipment. And then we have uniforms, which again is part of the ASME contract. Any questions on the 600 series?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
this one. 550 talks about printing, 625 talks about postage. I'm looking at tax bills for printing is 11,600, and the tax bills for postage is 10,000. What's the difference? Why is it different?
What?
The numbers on the tax bills and envelopes and printing are 11,600 for tax bills. Postage of tax bills is 10,000. Water, sewer bills, and electric bills match up, but the tax bills don't.
For the postage?
Yeah, the printing for tax bills has a quantity of 11,600,
Okay.
and the postage for tax bills is 10,000. Shouldn't they be the same?
Yes, they should be the same.
You might want to recalculate that.
On the printing, really want the postage costs to go up more. We do have people that are electronic for the for their tax bills. So that probably, the printing.
It's not a big deal, I just...
The printing, yeah, no, you're
You know,
correct
if
about that.
the two numbers don't match up,
Yeah.
it seems to me they should.
Yes.
Because if you're going to print an envelope, the tax bills, then you're going to put a stamp on it. But,
So, Brenda, you'll have enough money to send out the tax bills?
Yeah.
Because it's in the budget, right? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I go back to that too, Don?
yeah, go
May I
ahead.
ask a question? So, back to, I was kind of doing a two-part question here. So when I pay my bill online, I'm paying the offset to pay my bills, so you don't have to send me one.
Right.
Is there an offset if someone chooses a paper bill to pay for the postage, to send them that paper bill and send them the paper in the mail?
Is there an offset? I don't,
So I don't get a paper bill, so I
Correct.
go online and I pay a fee online
right.
to have that online service.
Yeah.
But if someone gets that paper bill from you and they mail you the check back
Yeah.
and stuff, they're not
paying that extra.
They're not paying that, yet
Correct.
the people who are doing the electronic service, saving our town money, they're picking up sort of that other end. Should there be an offset fee for people who are continuing to choose paper and postage, which also puts, I'm assuming, extra work on the department?
Yeah, probably at some point that should be looked at. I know a lot of other companies will do that, like the phone company and so on and so forth, to get a paper bill.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Approximately, what's your percentage of people paying online? Just roughly?
For what service? I think I was, hold on. I have some of that. Okay. Let's- Okay. We probably, I'm going to say that probably we have around 30% of people that pay their utilities online. We're trying to increase that number, obviously, so that we don't have to deal with the paper checks anymore. Probably this is probably a little bit higher for property taxes, believe it or not. I don't know why, but we're right in that area, and that varies from month to month about the number of people that pay online.
You can pay online and
Brian,
still,
do you have a question?
yeah.
Okay.
Can you pay online? You can pay online and you can still receive a paper
Yeah.
copy of your bill at the same time also.
Yes.
That's what I get.
So then there's two costs there associated. There's the
Well,
postage and
not
there's the
really.
mailing out, and
Let me
you're
answer the question. There's no extra cost there because you're on the website. You can print it off the website. No cost to the town, no stamps, no envelopes, no nothing.
correct, but there are a lot of people that pay online and still get the paper copy of the bill in the mail also.
That's craziness. All you gotta do is print it off the computer. Well, whatever.
We do have a number of people, when we try to talk to people about going paperless, a lot of people are saying that, oh, I get so many things in my email, I don't want to miss a bill.
Okay.
So that seems to be what we hear a lot from people.
For my neighborhood HOA, I like to have both, just as a check and balance, because I'm monitoring bills for 3 different electric systems and paying 36 times a year, and I want a check and balance so that I have a paper copy, I can see it online, and it's paid automatically so that I know it gets paid on time. So there are times, Bob, when you do want to have a third check and balance.
Oh, I don't have a problem with a paper copy if somebody wants it, but you can print it offline. You don't have to get one from Brenda. Whatever. That's all I'm saying.
Now, that's true. We have a fair amount of people that get both. They get the electronic copy and they get the paper copy.
Okay.
Okay, 700 series. Looks like you want to replace the check scanner.
Yes, one of them.
Okay, 800, which is the traveling meetings and professional development. What did you still be able to go to the training for the tax collectors
Mhm.
conference? You'll have something to go there?
Yeah.
Okay, so the total budget for your department is $375,849. That's a $28,927 increase, or 8.3%. Any other questions for the tax collector?
Yeah, one quick question.
Yes, sir.
So the open position that you're bidding on is in the budget?
It is in the budget.
Okay, good, good. So if all things work out, will it pay for it?
Correct.
Whoever that may be.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thanks, Brenda.
Okay, let's move on to personal administration.
So personnel administration, this makes up your healthcare, dental, life, disability, workers' comp. Currently, this is $2,955,000. You have the backup here showing you the plans. I would ask that this entire budget be revisited because you may have to take some action on it as we navigate through a couple of items with the budget internally.
Will we have enough time, you have that information by the time we wrap things up? Okay.
I'm assuming that's the rate that we're gonna be paying, yes?
The rate increase.
Bobby?
That was my question about school cares,
Sorry.
if we're gonna have that final.
That's the internal work that's taking place relative to the rate increase. And I'll sit here and say it, conversations with staff and union about the possibility of changing to a different plan, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that that's gonna be terribly fruitful, but we're actively pursuing and having those conversations.
So do you have any idea how many current positions we have open?
I think I counted today, John, 7, I think. I can get a definitive answer for you tomorrow night.
Okay. I know that when we did the highway department, the director was kind enough to accept us lagging one employee until March. I'd like to maybe see if we could get some figures doing the same thing, except for critical people that you absolutely need, until the budget passes in March, if that's possible. Does anyone else feel that same way, or?
I especially do in the planning department,
Okay,
and I was gonna bring that up when we got there.
okay, jump the gun then. We pretty much all agree on maybe looking into that?
Yeah, I would just use the caveat that while we are without a planner, we are paying
Right.
significant amount of monies between legal costs and contracted
Okay.
circuit planner.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll move on from this one until, if we can reschedule that, Leanne, sometime, personal administration.
Can we just put that on as a revisit night?
Okay,
You
now
have it all in front of you, it's just the adjustment.
That's December 7th, 30th, I mean.
Okay, let's move on to miscellaneous expenses. This includes the, just one 800 series, and that's executive operating expenses, joint loss safety committee, and other.
Yeah, so this is where, you know, if somebody gets hurt, the select board may want to send somebody bouquet of flowers
Okay.
or something like that. That's kind of where this falls.
Family member passes away or anything like that.
You got it.
Okay. Any questions on the miscellaneous operating expenses? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Let's go to health officer.
So in our health department, we have a health officer, we have a health inspector. Both of those departments have been moderately busy over the past year, and I anticipate them being moderately busy in the year to come as well. This is going to be one of those areas that over time, I think that this health officer budget, we may have to look at doing something different.
Decreasing it?
No, actually combining it.
Okay.
And there are a couple different avenues of doing that. One would be in the code enforcement office, which our code enforcement office right now is overworked and understaffed. That would be where I would like to see this. But there are other conversations that need to take place. But this is an area that going forward, we're gonna have to make some changes to
So we'll expect those probably in 2027?
at the very earliest.
Yes, okay. Okay, that, we've got the 100 series and 200, which is the salaries and the payroll, taxes, unemployment, et cetera, workers' compensation. Any questions on the 100, 200? 300 series as communications. 500 dues and subscriptions. 600 postage. 800 travel and meetings and professional development. This budget is 2026, 11,480, which is a 0.89% increase, I'm sorry. Any questions on the health officer? Okay, let's move on to, I guess, debt services.
So debt service, I took for your benefit, and the chart that you have in front of you lays out the debt service right now through 2030. That is obviously incumbent on no additional bonds coming forward. But the idea here is to show you that the trend is going in the right direction for our bond payments over the next several years.
That direction is down.
Reducing.
Reducing. Good. Are you anticipating anything coming, a warrant article to?
Bonds for 2027, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I think at this point, the only one that we would, if there was, for some reason, was one coming in through a petition, but I haven't heard of anything, so.
Okay. Bobby?
I just have a quick question, because I know at one of the select meetings you had spoken about possibly putting all the road repairs and everything and putting that out for a bond. Is that still in the works or?
Theory.
Theory. Okay, so that's not an upcoming 20, okay, thanks.
Okay, any
So I
questions?
guess the charge is for CIP not to approve any bonded projects for a while, right? To keep the trend going.
It's in the right direction, Bob.
Okay.
You can go well.
Okay, any other questions on the debt service? Good news, it's starting to go down.
So the other backup to that is, I believe you guys were asking the other night where the sewer debt is. That's behind it, it's right here. So again, we've laid out the sewer debt for you through 2030. Couple of things about that. This debt for 2026 does not show the bond for the Mill Street Sewer Pump Station. That bond will not come on board until 1 full year after the completion of the project. That project is scheduled to be a 410-day project from when they start. They haven't started yet. We're working with DES right now to ensure that the low bidder meets the criteria for the state for DES approval for loan forgiveness if there's any, and the state aid grant, which is the low interest loan. So the chances of this coming on, that bond payment, it's probably going to be 28 at the very earliest that Mill Street Sewer Pump Station is going to be coming on board as a debt. There is right now no project being considered for South Main Street sewer line. We did not score well at all this year on that project, so we'll be going back to the drawing board. That's a $4 million project alone on that. So, but this gives you an idea of, you know, in 2030, the debt really falls off on the sewer pump station or sewer, but we do have a little bit coming on board.
Can you kind of like tell us about what you mentioned about we didn't score well?
Okay, so the way that these state programs work is they receive a series of projects that come into them, and we work with our engineers, and the higher the project scores, the more likely it is to receive funding. As it was articulated to me, yeah, our system is really old, but we haven't had any problems on that section from Pickering Corner to the Smith River Bridge. Therefore, it did not score high. The sad part of it is, for it to score high, we have to have a major leak. Nobody wants to have that,
Right.
right? So let's Band-Aid this thing as long as we can and hopefully get to the point where some of these other projects in the state are either falling off or not being approved by communities, and maybe we can start inching closer to being able to get a funded project for that South Main corridor.
What do you see for like the bond rates? Are they coming down or what?
So these particular bonds with the state are 2%.
Okay.
It's a state revolving loan funds, and those are at 2%.
Yes, sir.
I may be wrong, but I also thought I heard Mr. Ayotte tell us that in addition to you need to have a leak, the other issue that's taking place at the state level is as monies are becoming shorter and shorter supply, these larger projects, Bow as an example, that section of road is consuming a lot of money. So there's more of a tendency to put the monies what are left into the larger projects to get them completed. And then the smaller projects fall off the, if you will, because they don't leak and they score lower.
Right, okay. Thank you.
So it's a double whammy.
Yes, sir.
Something else I want people to understand about our debt service is $2 million for debt service in 2029 is a lot different than $2.2 million debt service in 2024. Because as we know, as time value of money happens, $2 million becomes worth less 5 years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get into 2030 and our debt service is below $2 million, it's going to be a less impact on the town, especially where our town has become more valuable through assessments and a whole lot of other financial calculations. So people have to understand that $2 million is not the same now as it was 20 years ago, and as it will be 10 years from now.
Right.
John.
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, Bobby.
Just one more question. That 2.4 million, how much of that debt is actually sitting from enterprise fund accounts? Like how much of that is POP, for example, or?
So I can get you that information for tomorrow night. I can pull that off the sheet and get that. I believe it is in the CIP documents, but we obviously have it.
Okay.
We can provide that to you. I think that's the only one that is general fund is the POP. Sewer is obviously through the sewer transfer that takes place.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Okay, I guess we can move on now. Let's go to, I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, when you use hypotheticals out to 2030 and beyond, we don't know what the interest rate's gonna be. We've been pretty lucky. Previous to this, we were very lucky, and depends on what's going on in the world as to how the interest rates are.
Yeah, I would say we made out very well with the public safety building and the Pop Whalen Arena for the interest rates on those through the bond bank.
Which was, do you remember?
It was under 3%, I think.
Yeah, okay.
The state aid and state revolving loan funds, those are a little bit different. They're set by the state, I believe, is my understanding. But, you know, like you said, the cost of borrowing that money is not what it was 3 years ago.
Okay, I guess we can move on now. Let's go to legal.
John, this is where you'll find the Coalition of Communities. This is a group of communities who are have joined a coalition for the cost of school education funding in the state of New Hampshire, and SWEP monies, et cetera. We've been a part of this for, I think it's 3 years now. It's a little concerning because I do believe some of the communities are starting to drop off from being members of this. And as a result, the cost to us has incrementally increased. So I'm not sure where that'll be in a year. But this thing started out with, I think, 40 communities, and now I think it's down to about 20. So.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Could you just briefly, Jim, can you give the public an idea of what the coalition communities is all about? What that?
Yeah, so it basically just, it looks at the way it's hiring lobbyists to essentially follow what's happening at the state level regarding school funding, and with an eye on concern of impacts to property-rich towns, is what it really boils down to.
If I can just jump in there, we had a bill last year that would have brought back what we call the donor towns. And back in the probably 2009, 2008, Wolfeboro was a donor town.
Yep.
And then the legislature got rid of the donor towns. So we fought the battle. It passed the House that Wolfeboro was going to be a donor town. Then it was defeated in the Senate. And unfortunately, the extra money that we would raise that we can use to help our education keep within the town, we would have to send to another community.
Yeah. No, I remember the old donor town business.
Yeah, so that's another bill to bring that back, and hopefully, I know the coalition did a fairly good job, an excellent job, in fact, to contact representatives and senators to defeat this, along with your local representatives.
Good. Thank you.
Okay, so we've got that, the whole list of the 300 series, which shows the legal expenses for zoning, planning, code enforcement, negotiations, bond counsel, there's the coalition communities, and also some legal expenses for the police department. Does anybody have any questions on those expenses that I've just stated about? Yes,
I just
Barbara?
have one, the negotiations is down to, is that for our unions, and so why has that gone down for this year? Do we have no negotiations?
There should be no
with that?
union negotiations in 2026.
So the fire is taking place in.
We had meetings today. We hope to be done 22nd, I think, is what we're hoping to be
We
done.
hope to
Okay,
put
so
the
that
pencils
doesn't-
down on the 22nd.
Okay.
Joan,
Yes, ma'am.
and what's the term of that negotiation? Is it a
Can't
1
discuss it
year,
at this
3
point.
year?
I can't discuss it at this point.
Oh. Will we know?
You'll know.
At some point, yeah.
You'll know.
Okay, we all set on legal
I just
expenses?
have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Just because you did bring up the state and the expenses, and when we're talking about SWEPT, just because there are people who will be watching who won't understand statewide education property taxes, and they won't understand our general education fund, and that Wolfeboro, even though we do not send those funds, we still are not funded by that general fund in education. We're essentially self-funding. However, I am going to make a comment because there was an attack on public schools. We are using our general fund for private school vouchers. We are also using our state general fund to fund now in our county another charter school which just opened up in Wolfeboro, and I just think it's disingenuous if we're only attacking public schools with these SWEPT funds when our general fund is actually educating schools that are not public schools.
Thank you, Bobby.
I have a question. maybe Bobby knows the answer. What if we don't fund it?
Our statewide education property taxes?
What if we don't fund that sweat, whatever it is?
Well, the state mandates that they collect, and what are we, 98 cents? Are we down to 98 cents for
I
this?
want to say it was $1.09, but I don't remember.
I
All right, well,
think
that's okay, you answered the question. The
Yeah.
state mandates it,
the
okay.
state mandates
End
it.
of subject.
I'll bring something up. When do we write that check to the state? We don't do that, do we? All the money that we raise by taxes stays here from the Wolfeboro community, is that correct?
That's my understanding.
That is correct.
Okay, let's move on then. Let's do property liability.
So property and liability, you may recall the other night when we looked at the electric department, the enterprise funds, they carry their own property liability and are paid for through their enterprise funds, whereas the general fund, it is a single line item within the budget to account for all of that. So here's the number with a 9% increase. We signed that agreement a couple years ago, and this was the final year of the 9%. So I would sit here with a great deal of confidence and say next year. I can't tell you what the increase is gonna be.
Does this include, is it all the buildings, pretty much? Cars, all that, everything else, like the Abenaki's on its own policy and then...
Abenaki has, because of the type of activity that's going on, it has a separate
Okay.
insurance policy. But as far as property, yeah, this is property and liability for all of the town assets.
Any questions about that? It looks at $317,054, which is a 9% increase. And that's based on whatever contract we have with, or agreement we have with the current vendor?
Yeah, it's Primex.
Primex, okay.
And it's, and we, I will say, we do leverage a lot out of Primex, having them come and perform safety inspections or trainings. They're very good to us.
Yeah, I know I think we all went to the sexual harassment training that they put on several months ago. Okay, we all set on that? Liability insurance, let's move on to zoning. Okay, 100 and 200 series, again, that's salary and benefits, not including the insurance.
Yeah, is that the appropriate time to talk about that?
What's that? We're in zoning, so if you have something on zoning, yeah.
Yeah. Given that we do not have a planning director, and we're using Lakes Region Planning to fill in, that's where she comes from, right? Lakes Region Planning? Well, how do we contract with that individual or association? How does that work? And what are we paying? And is it hourly? Is it, because we pay dues to Lake Region Planning Association to be able to use their assistance when necessary. So I have no idea.
We have a contract above and beyond that for the services that are provided to us. I can't remember right off the top of my head what the hourly rate is. I can give you a copy of the contract if you like. But it is a contract above and beyond the general services contract that we are in agreement with for Lakes Region Planning.
Yeah, because we belong to them. We pay dues, so to speak, to them.
$10,700 and some change,
Yeah,
that's correct.
But what I'm getting at is I'm wondering what we pay for that service as compared to the months that we do not have a planning director. I'm assuming there's a savings in that.
There's a savings, but I think
Can you get back to us? I don't want to have to make you think off the top of your head what the difference is.
Yeah, I mean, we know what we spent year-to-date on Lakes Region Planning Commission for their work as interim planner. We can get you that information without any problem.
Well, you had a difficulty filling that position for months. I imagine you will again. So I think this salary to that department needs to be adjusted, but I don't have a clue as to how much downward, because we won't be paying anyone. That's why I'm saying, what are we paying for the fill-in position, so we can make sure we have that money?
And let's just be clear, that is in the planning department budget, not in the zoning budget.
Yeah.
We haven't quite got to that yet. We're in zoning right now, so we haven't moved on to planning. That's coming right up.
But the person does planning, zoning. Planning is the umbrella, but they do zoning
Okay.
and planning department. They handle both departments. I don't know if it's split out that way. I think it's,
It is not split up
no,
that way.
it's because the planning director is the head of zoning
Okay.
and planning.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm trying to figure out
Where it goes, what's going where.
what we can reduce it by,
Okay.
but still have a person in there temporarily.
Probably when we get to the planning section, we can look at that. Bobby, did you have a
So I
question?
do have a question based on that then. Should we be seeing in the zoning department then, should we be seeing part of that consultation fees then from the Lakes Region Planning?
Now, right now, we have a standalone contract that I believe is being accounted for in the consultant's line of the planning department, where the wages for the town planner currently reside.
Okay, thank you.
But are they handling any of our zoning or no?
Yes, they're helping us with some of it. But the planner's job, under the planning department budget, part of his or her scope is ZBA,
Okay.
planning board, all these other boards, EDC,
Building.
Conservation Commission,
Building.
Okay.
buildings and codes.
So in this zoning, who replaced Terry? Do
So
we have
the-
someone internally who's
That,
replaced
Terry is identified here, and let me be clear, she's identified here as a part-time employee who came back to help us with some recording. She's not identified here as a full-time employee.
Okay, so this isn't us.
There's no full-time employee
This
listed
isn't
here.
an old name on here from prior because we're in default and
Correct.
everything. Okay,
Correct.
thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, so, the 100 and 200 series, that's the, salary and benefits, no
I'd like to
insurance.
revisit that. When-
Yeah, we'll get there in a second. We still gotta get to planning. Thank you. 500 series is advertising, 12 meeting notices, 600 series, office supplies and postage. Go down to the 800, that's travel and meetings to attend the NHOSI annual conference. And then we have got some professional development, NHOSI annual conference registration. Then the summary is, this budget for the zoning is $7,457, and that's a decrease of 7.3%. Any questions on zoning? Okay, let's move on. We'll go now into the planning board budget. $100 series.
So I have a
Yes, Bobby.
So on that, you have that vacant position based on what John said earlier about not filling it. Is that one that you do need to fill, or is this waiting till March?
This was a part-time position, and I believe they just held interviews for it.
Okay, so that is
So-
being filled. Thank you.
Any more questions on, excuse me, salaries and benefits? 300 series includes legal communications and outside services. What's the outside services, Jim?
The reduction?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you remember a couple years ago, we did a two-part series, $7,500 one year, $7,500 a second year, to evaluate impact fees. This is actually in 2025 is a result of the default budget. It got rolled into 2025.
Okay.
And then when we built the budget for 2026, it got rolled into 2026. And then it was caught when we were going through the budget that, oh, we don't need that money in there because we've already done this work. So therefore, we can reduce that by $7,500.
Okay, very good, thank you.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
So when we did the impact fees, that was pre the ambulance and pre like Taylor coming in and building more units and everything else. Is there going to be another study that looks at the impact as we build more of the elderly communities and how they're impacting the town in other ways than sort of the education impact fees and those fees? Has there been a conversation on that?
There has not been a conversation about that, Bobby.
Okay, excuse me, 400 series, that's overtime. 500 printing and advertising. 600 series office supplies and postage. We also get some publications. 800 travel and meetings and professional development. So we're at, let me see here. $20,216, and that's a 45.39% decrease over 2025. Any questions on planning?
I think that's at 11,345.
I'm sorry?
That after the select board, it's at 11,345 on that one. Not the 20.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
think you were looking at 25.
I'm sorry, my apologies. Yeah, 11,346. Again, my apologies. Decrease of 45.39%. Okay, next one will be economic development.
Wait, that planning, I skipped over. Okay, so I see what's been done here is they separate out planning board, zoning board, code officer, and then you have what you were just reading, I guess, was
Yeah.
planning.
No, we're on planning
Is
now.
that right? Is that where you were?
Just what we were just on was planning board.
Okay, you're on planning board. And where are you going now?
Now we're going to go to, I believe, economic development.
Why would you do that? Why would you not just stay with planning?
Wait, planning department.
I'm just going by what the way the books are set up, that's all.
Okay, but the
In mine, John,
The
it's
agenda
planning
is-
board.
What's that? Oh,
Planning.
planning board is yours?
Planning
Oh,
board.
my
I'm sorry,
apologies,
planning department, yeah.
I've got economic development, I apologize. So your next one is planning, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, what do you guys, what's
Planning
everybody else
department
saying?
is what I,
Planning department.
Planning
Okay,
department.
my apologies, I had economic
Good job.
development. Thank you for that. Suzanne?
It's up on the top part of the book.
Thank you.
He's got shuffled in the back.
Okay, supervisor salaries, 100 series. You wanna talk?
Yeah,
Wanna-
that's the one that I'm concerned with.
Good, let's have Jim give us a little
Is this-
description on that, if you can.
Yeah, so if you go into the Muni Smart backup, I think when you look at line 380, outside services, I believe that is the line that is accounting for the interim planner, which year-to-date was $53,000. Now that, I know there are other items in that, but that's where part of that that consulting salary is coming from. Again, I can get you that breakdown tomorrow. We have the position posted. we're actively taking in resumes and cover letters. We're hopeful to begin looking at those in the coming week, with the eye of moving forward to hopefully hire somebody shortly after the new year if we have a qualified candidate, which is going to be a fit. However, I do think that we need to be prepared to continue to have the contracted planner in place, because at least I know in my office, I'm getting a lot of input from numerous people about the time it's taking to get stuff turned around, and it's an unfortunate circumstance of the position we're in right now, without a planner.
I think you'd call it Daily Mail.
Brian?
So Jim, a great thing for me would be to see how much the contracted planner would be if we were to keep her for the whole calendar year of 2026, and then compare that number to the 88,000 or 89,000 that we have booked for a full-time planner with us. And I think then people would be able to see that that contracted planner is probably going to be much less. And as we hire, if we hire a full-time planner down the road, we're never going to break that salary line of 89 for our planning department, our full-time planner.
Suzanne?
Brian, I understand what you're saying, but the Lakes Region Planning Association or Commission can only lend out so much help. They have a budget, they fix their budget for a year as to how many people go to so many towns to do so much, master plan and so forth they work on and help towns. So my question back to what I was trying to say is, what are we get 1 day a week from this lady, and I'm trying to figure out what that would be for the year, or 6 months. We'll be 6 months before we get anybody, and I'm almost certain. What are we paying for that service? Can we get the Lakes Region position for 2 days a month?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
Right, so we're in a bind, and we're lucky to have that assistance, but what is the difference between $100,000 or whatever we were gonna pay the previous person as opposed to 1 day a week for 6 months? I think there's probably some money that can come out of that line. I don't know how to calculate it. I know Jim does.
When does the
No,
posting
you can
close,
figure
Jim?
it out.
When does the posting close?
It will not close until it's filled.
So I see what you're saying, Suzanne, that the number that you're asking Jim to calculate really can't be calculated because it's all dependent on how long we go without a planner.
Well, we do that with, Brian, we do that with part-time vacant positions that we figure isn't gonna be filled for a number of months. We take, I think it was the road, we took a couple months off of the salary line.
Then he'd be guessing when we're gonna get a planner, and I think that's a bad guess to make him make.
I just would like to ask a favor, if there's a way that the backup can be printed again to match what we're discussing, because we have something very different in our backups than the conversation that's happening right now. I mean, I can see when you ran the report on 11/11 where we've added that 53, but our backup is actually telling us that it's, what did we have, 11,000 or something in there? I'm just wondering if I can get this, the backup page that you printed for us again, and I think Bob's is wrong too.
Which line are you talking about, Bobby?
The backup that we have for the conversation we're having
Okay.
doesn't match, so unless I had Suzanne's knowledge and I had full knowledge of this, I just don't have all the pieces correctly. I'm just wondering if we could just have another printout of the backup
Go one
with
more
what, and I do understand that this all happened as the budget was unfolding and stuff, so if we can just have the backup to correlate with this,
No,
it
go-
would be helpful.
Go back. It says right there, it says William Scott.
Yeah. He's gone.
I mean, I can see you added the outside services to 380 at 53, but my backup is telling me 380 is only $2,200.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I can just have that, the backup for that.
I think I'm a little confused what you're seeing.
So
I have
on line
2200 as
380,
well.
when the report was run on November 11, we can see that the 53 in the actuals is there. But when I look at the backup, what you're telling me for our planning on 380, we're looking at $2,200, and that's telling me 100%.
So that is the increase in the 2026 budget compared to the 2025 budget.
I have nothing.
That
in
is
20.
not the expenses.
No.
But I have nothing in 2025.
It's
Correct.
The Muni Smart is telling us, if I may, I'm confused also. I mean, we've got a consultant line on 311 that says $2,000. We've got outside services of $2,200.
Yeah.
We've got a 2026 department head budget on consultants of $2,000, and that was approved by the select board. We have nothing in outside services for the department head budget, and we got 2,200 in there from the select board approved budget. And then up above, supervisory salary, we're budgeting $88,936 for new planning director. Totally confusing. Totally confusing. What's the number for the planning director?
The number for the planning director,
Assuming you hire one and he agrees to what you budgeted, I assume it's 88,936, because that's sitting there on line 113.
I don't know, 948.
Well, then I can also see what Suzanne's saying, because then we're also not paying health insurance, retirement, all those other things. So I can see why Suzanne's asking, is it beneficial?
all right, so let's do this.
Well, the health insurance would be under personnel.
I'm reading
Yeah.
it back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just
Doesn't matter.
the overall, is it cheaper to do the 53, or is it,
Well, I can tell you that 53 as of today
Yeah,
is
that's wrong.
closer to 61,000.
okay,
Um,
seeing that that's, as this is growing and, you know,
Because we're
because
paying
this
somebody
is all,
ongoing, correct.
I mean, this is relatively new since, you know, a month ago.
Right.
Which changed things. It just would be nice when we're discussing about the future to be able to actually look and see what really is transpiring and what the projected future would be for the budget.
All right, so
Can
you
we-
want a whole revisit of this budget?
I
John?
will.
Just revisit this.
John?
I'm sorry, Paul.
I just wanted to ask a question, because I'm confused myself. So is the question on the table, is it more or less valuable for us to have a part-time person, or more or less valuable for us to have a full-time person? Is that the question?
Well, for
Yes or no?
for purposes of budgeting this year,
Yes or no?
yes.
Okay? And do
Not
we-
value other than dollars.
well,
Not,
So the next
not what they
question
can
for all of us would
contribute.
be, do we really understand the nature of work that takes place there? Yes or no?
Say again?
Do we understand the nature of work that takes place in that function?
yes, but
You
I'm,
do?
I'm,
Okay, then it should be self-evident.
well, no, I'm not asking as to ability, I'm asking dollars and cents.
I see. Okay.
Sam,
That's
Good
not our
question,
job
please.
to manage what is more
Excuse me just a
important.
second,
It's
hold
our
on for a
job
minute,
to look
please.
at the
Can you
budget.
tell me what the planning board has spent year-to-date, this section of the budget?
Planning board or
For the
planning
the
department?
planning, the one we're in right now?
Total,
Yeah,
$171,340.
171,000?
340.
Okay, and this year they want, in 2025, they were going to get, what did they get here? 152,476, and this year they would like to have 154,285. So neither one of these cover the 171,340 that they spent.
I have a question
Yes, sir.
about that. The Lakes region, is that a flat fee or is that an hourly every time she's tasked with a project for Wolfeboro? That's a billable hour.
I will get you guys a contract. I can't remember right off the top of my head.
Can we just table it?
Yeah, we'll revisit it.
Did we want to pick a day to revisit? Like we did the other?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to pick a day to revisit, like on December 30th?
Yeah, we'll do our regular revisit. Did you give me enough time, Jim?
That is plenty of time.
Okay. Okay. We've got to come back to planning and town clerk.
And personnel administration.
Now, code officer,
That's part of it. That's under the planning too.
yeah. But we're going to deal with the code officer right now. 100, 200 series, that's the salary and some benefits, minus the insurance. Any questions on that? 300 series, which includes consultants, outside services.
Just clarification,
Yes,
sorry.
sir.
Is that position currently open as well or is that filled?
Filled.
Okay.
I have a question, John.
Yes, sir.
Line 311. Third-party inspectors for larger projects. Why, isn't our guy qualified to do that?
He is. But a lot of times we run into projects that are large enough that require a third party to deal with them, because he is, quite frankly, he does, I think it's, this year he's gonna be right around 2,100 inspections. So you do those 2,100 inspections on top of the code reviews that are required for those. A large project comes in,
Yeah.
he doesn't have the bandwidth to deal with it.
Okay.
The other thing is, because of where he resides at this point, we are contracting with third parties because of conflicts of interest. So his wife works at Brewster, he lives at Brewster, therefore he is not doing any inspections associated with Brewster.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to the 400 series, which is vehicle maintenance, office equipment maintenance. Any questions on that? Next is 500 printing and the dues and subscriptions. Uh, 600, that includes the office supplies, postage, gasoline, books and periodicals, building code books, safety equipment, boots, jacket, and shirts. Okay, let's move on to 800 series, traveling meetings. That includes New Hampshire VOA, New Hampshire Building Officers Association. Jim, does that sound?
Building officials, yep.
Officials Association, okay. What the dues there, miscellaneous meetings. We got professional development, the ICC annual conference, which is education, and then some additional training at the NHBOA. Any questions on the 800 series? Then we've got 2026. Budget request of $138,561, increase of $27,815 or 25.1% increase. In a nutshell, Jim, where's that coming from?
Most of that's in salaries. This gentleman has a very extensive background. He was a building official in Keene, New Hampshire, and he came very highly credentialed, so we had to make ourselves competitive with other communities who at the same time had building officials open, and he is made some substantial improvements in the programs that are taking place there, and I think that the challenge has become, from the town standpoint, they are much improved, but they are some challenges for some of the contractors who are working with him on the changes which he's implemented, which is really, at the end of the day, improve the product and turn permits around quicker.
Okay, good. Yes, Bobby?
Can I just ask one more question in this area, just because I'm curious? Like the increase of the consulting fees and just the, I mean, this stuff is obviously minor in this budget, other than, you know, health insurance and stuff that's gone up. But we passed the short-term rental stuff that went into effect, and that is obviously probably under this purview. Has that?
It's part of this, and it's part of the fire chief's responsibility.
Okay, and that is in here, and,
That's factored into his job, correct?
okay, thank you.
Yep. The other thing I would say is, and I don't have the number, but we create a significant amount of revenue from the permits that come in through this as well.
That'll be reflected when we get the revenue report. Thank you. Okay, now we'll go into economic development. Okay, we've got some 100 to 200 series, salary and list benefits, insurance. Who's that person, Jim? What does that person do? Is that,
I believe that's the recording secretary for the EDC.
okay. Then we've got the 300 series, which is outside services, which includes the town's community calendar of events and fireworks.
So it does not include fireworks. That fireworks line is a carryover from default budgets, just so you're aware. And you'll see that it's funded at zero. As part of the default budget calculation for 2025, that $2,500 got thrown back in.
Would you like to make a motion, John?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to remove line 380 for that $6,000
Second.
from this budget.
Okay. We've got a first and a second. Discussion?
So
I second.
Yeah, I said we have a first, now we're discussion.
my only question would be, if we have another plan to do something differently written down that covers a complete community calendar of events for the town of Wolfeboro, then it's something I would entertain, but without a plan going forward on how we are going to, as a community in a town, advertise all our events that happen in the town, I think we put the cart before the horse. I don't mind having the Chamber of Commerce stand on their own. However, we do have an employee that works in that office, And we do need to calendar everything that happens in the town so that people have a way to see what events are happening.
So,
Thank you.
Brian, I guess my question is, where does this $6,000 calendar of event, what are we paying with that $6,000?
So all the events that the town has can be placed not only on our Parks and Rec department, they can go to to our town calendar, but they can go to the chamber's calendar and the community calendar that goes out through the chamber so that we see events that happen there.
So is this a printed calendar?
Um,
Part of it.
Part of it is printed, part of it is online. Part of it for Lake Winnipesaukee Day is a banner hung in front of the chamber to
And that
publicize.
banner is part of this $6,000?
No, it's not part of that $6,000, but it's a way that they communicate all the events that are happening in the town. The turkey trot's on their calendar.
Well, the turkey trot is on the
It's on the Parks and Rec
recreation.
department too, correct.
And is it on our calendar, on our website, on our front page, or is this
I'd have to
the
check on that.
chamber's calendar?
I'd have to check on, to see if the turkey trot, if Parks and Rec puts all of their information on our town website. But unless
Because I
there's,
can
if
tell you
you,
right now,
if
it's
you have a
not.
bet, do you have a better plan? If you have a better plan on how to do this for $6,000 and where you want it to go, I'm all ears.
Well, we have a recreation department with 9 full-time employees. We have
Okay.
4 full-time employees in a recreation department, and you're talking about recreation, and they can't go onto our town calendar, and they cannot put with 4 full-time employees who are in programming, they can't go onto our town calendar and put on our town calendar that we have a turkey trot. We have to pay the chamber $6,000.
That's the way we do it now. Like I said, if you have a better plan,
Yeah,
absolutely.
my plan is I want to cut this and make the people responsible in our town who are programming that turkey trot, that it ends up on our town calendar. Because right now, how many of us have been to the chamber's calendar and said, oh, well, the chamber keeps all of our town's stuff, so we should go to the chamber? How many of us are doing that?
Can't,
Not me.
can't.
We're paying the chamber to keep our own calendar. Why are we not keeping our own calendar?
Well, I would say that part of the issue would be that you gotta talk about more than just Parks and Rec. There are, I mean, if the.
Great, what's your next
If the
one?
EDC has an event, it can go on the chamber calendar. So it's not just about Parks and Rec. So do you want the Parks and Rec to take care of anything programmed for the EDC or for any other event also?
Well, I'm not managing the town. What I'm saying is I'm seeing a cost that we as taxpayers are paying to the Chamber of Commerce to do something that we ourselves should be doing. We're
Okay,
talking
so
about,
it's not just Parks and Rec, it's not
we're
Parks and Rec
talking
doing
about a
it
digital
all.
calendar. We own our own website.
Okay.
We have our own digital calendar on our website. It is our responsibility without paying the
All
chamber
right, and
to
again,
keep our
with,
calendar.
with a program in place that we know which employee is gonna do that, how much it's gonna cost, what's it gonna be for salary, benefits, insurance, everything else, then,
That's not my job to manage. I'm making a motion that I do not believe the citizens of this town want to continue paying the Chamber of Commerce $6,000 when we are not cleaning our storm drains. When we are we're taking $6,000 from our from our Public Works Department to not keep our lakes safe, so we can pay I believe very much that we have a priority problem. And sitting on this board right now, I believe the citizens of this town think that paying the chamber $6,000 for a digital calendar when we own our own website and we can put our own digital stuff out there, yet we are not going to try and keep our lakes clean by cleaning our storm drains out. I'm just making a motion as an elected official that I believe I'm representing the citizens of the town to say this, we're paying tax on this when we have other priorities. And this is not a priority.
And that's fine. I don't know how the community calendar and cleaning storm drains correlate, but like I said, I've had people come to me and say that they would like us to have our own community calendar that encompasses all of our departments, EDC, all our boards, Heritage Commission, Conservation Committee, all of them, and put it on one calendar. But until we have the capability to do that, I would like a plan from somebody to come forward and show me, this is how we're gonna do it, this is what it's gonna cost. We're gonna save money.
Why would you like a plan? We have a town manager here, and our town manager oversees departments, and that is our town manager's job. That's not your job to micromanage something like a calendar. We literally hire a town manager who oversees departments. As far as I knew, we should not be micromanaging that stuff. What I'm looking at is I'm looking at a budget, and in this budget, I feel as though that should be removed because I feel we are focusing on things like digital calendars for the Chamber of Commerce instead of focusing on what our priorities should
Okay,
be.
again, so if I knew we could do it cheaper another
I know.
way, if I knew we could do it cheaper another way, with the manpower we have and whatnot, I'm all for it. I just want to see a plan where it can be done
I'm
cheaper.
going to,
Yeah.
as soon as he gets done, out of respect for the Board of Selectmen representative. Everyone's all set? Any further discussion? Leanne, roll call, please.
Bobby Budman?
Yes.
Bob Loman?
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan?
Yes.
John McDonald?
Yes.
Justin Brown?
No.
Bob Mulholland?
No.
Brian DeShips?
No.
Passes 4-3.
I'd like to make a motion to put $4,000 in the executive branch on line, probably, I guess, 380. And the reason I'd like to put that money is that we have our 250th anniversary of our country this year in 2026. And I don't think we're gonna make the 300th. And a lot of us aren't. And I think we should schedule some type of celebration on the way things are going in the world to show some appreciation for the past 250 years. And do I have a second or anything?
I'm not sure I understand the motion.
I want to give the selectmen $4,000 to do something over 2026 to celebrate our 250th anniversary of our country.
So you're putting this in the EDC, or you're
No, I'm
putting
putting
this
in the executive.
executive line 380?
380, yes.
The whole six? Or
What's-
four?
What's that?
4 of the 6?
I'm not, that's already been, that
Oh, okay.
6,000's gone. This is 4,000 for the selectmen to use as they see to celebrate the 250th
I
anniversary.
will second that.
Second. Okay, no, I understand.
And you said you
Are
don't
you
want to do
saying-
it for the 300.
What's that?
You don't want to do it for the 300.
I don't think I'll be around for the 300.
Okay,
Do you have any ideas of what you want to do with that money?
I'm sure you guys will find something to do with it.
We'll put it on the community calendar.
No plan.
No, I just think,
It's a spitball.
I just think it's a 250th anniversary, and it would be something good for the
Are you saying to
community.
substitute that 6,000?
No, I'm moving 4,000 into outside services for the selectmen to use that 4,000, hopefully in celebration of a 250th anniversary of our country, which is 2020.
I understand what for, but I don't understand where you're putting it.
I'm putting it, it goes,
Oh, back here?
Yeah.
Oh,
executive.
May I ask a question?
Yes, Barbara.
First, I did second it, but I do have a question. Just because I know at the select board level, you had already discussed that, and you guys had already added funding for that. Is that not true?
What are you talking about?
There was a whole conversation on your board about the 250th and fireworks and everything else and funding. So that did not end up on there as any extra funding for the
we didn't have any
250th?
extra
I think,
funding.
if I remember right, we budgeted 20,000 for fireworks
Because that's what it's going to cost.
because we don't know what it's gonna cost.
I just remember there was a discussion, but that the 250th was important, but I can't remember if you added money.
I think it was just to have fireworks because it's our 250th and we needed to have $20,000 as a placeholder because
You don't know what it's gonna be.
there's only a couple of fireworks companies left in the
Paul?
state and they will only do fireworks that are at a certain level or else they go to the next community.
Paul?
It was a theory.
Theory, thank you.
Thank
Is
you.
it theory?
Mr.
Thank
Chairman?
you. I
You're
knew it
welcome.
was somewhere.
It was a theory.
Under Park and Rec was Patriotic
Felt good.
Services. That was either level or cut. And I asked the question at that meeting about the 250th. And I asked Christine if, there was going to be other means or money coming to that for that purpose. And she said, yes, there was something in the works, so, for what that's worth.
Question, Jim?
Bob?
So just for my own edification, you're planning on putting it in 41301 line 380, is that correct?
Correct, in the executive.
Jim's budget.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion.
We're
I'd
gonna
like to
take-
table this till, no, this is
You didn't-
acceptable.
I know it is, Bob, I opened them up before I didn't say anything, so please, make your motion.
I'd like to table this till the 30th because I'm going to ask if we can look back at what's happening with the Recreation Department and the director there to see if there was funding going in based on the information from Justin.
Okay, so second.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please. Yes, Bob, I'm sorry.
I have a point. We never voted on your motion.
Yes,
She-
correct.
Because she did a tabling motion that has
Okay.
precedent over my motion.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm just
It's
trying
okay.
to keep track of where we are.
I know.
That's the reason why I did the table was based on Justin's information.
Okay,
Roll call?
yes, please.
Bobby London.
Yes.
Bob Lohman.
Abstained.
Suzanne Ryan.
Yes.
John McDonald.
No.
Justin Brown.
Yes.
Bob Mulholland.
Yes.
Brian DeShape.
No.
4, 2, 1.
So now may I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Justin, would you take that responsibility on of asking the Director of Recreation what was in the works?
Sure.
Thank you.
Just, could I have, are you the liaison to that committee?
I am.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And we can
I'll let her
probably-
know you'll be reaching out.
Do you think she's got that information handy? Or okay. So we can schedule that for the revisit items, I guess, Leanne, on the 30th. Thank you. Okay, so let's go back to economic development.
Which one?
Economic development. Line 380 is now been zeroed out. 381 is also zeroed out, it's gone to another budget. 560, dues and subscriptions, EDC Association dues, Lakes Region Tourism, New Hampshire Business Review. We've got some advertising, 502. Business retention survey, business outreach, and recap event. That survey, is that done by UNH? We had that done a few years ago, I think.
10.
10 years ago?
Brian?
So the dues and subscriptions, will be going down a little bit. We're clearing out, I think New Hampshire Business Review is going away. There might be one other one that's going away, so that will drop a little bit. The UNH study, I'm not sure when that was done last.
I can speak to that.
The UNH study?
Yes.
Okay.
First, just real quick, back to fireworks. That's not in another budget, that's actually funded by donations exclusively.
Correct.
And as far as the business retention survey, the EDC reached out to UNH to collaborate with them again, and they have a 1.5 to 2 year backlog before the work could commence. And so through collaborating with members of the EDC who were a part of it 11 years ago, and the data that we have from that, we're going to try to recreate the survey in-house and still execute it.
Okay, so are we going to be subtracting some funds out of this tonight, Brian?
No, I think we should revisit it because I think we need to find out because I was just talking to Amy this week at the town manager's office and saw all the periodicals in the newspaper. I consulted a little bit with Lucy Van Cleve. We have a meeting tomorrow morning, so we will be discussing that money for the dues and subscriptions. And it's gonna come down not a lot, a little bit. So if we wanna revisit for that, it might be, I don't know, $100, $200 we can.
Okay. I can work with that.
John?
I'm sorry, Paul?
I'm sorry if I'm out of order, and if I am, Brian, you correct me. So, you mentioned that you want to reconstruct the survey in-house, is that correct?
Correct.
So, in 2015, 100 businesses were sampled, and 600 plus in town, 93 surveys. So you're going to do that kind of volume of
With
work?
your help.
Okay, so we could basically take this information and say, you're going to probably just copy that over and do that again.
With any relevant updates, but yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure, because I want to make sure that, because people are going to, I didn't know, and that's why I'm asking, because I'm just naive on the topic. That was a pretty robust survey, started in 2014. It was a big document. And you're thinking, you're just going to, when I say copy over, you're going to try to replicate that again.
With relevant updates, though, I think.
Okay, all right, just checking. Because if it's underfunded, say so, right? That would be I shouldn't do it.
Well, the hope is
Underfunded, say
that we do need to have some money towards it, but the hope is through the business community and key
Yeah.
people, volunteers like yourself, perhaps, we can get it done.
You volunteered?
so. No,
So we'll be reaching out.
not volunteering for that.
Okay, so we don't really have a final number at this time for the EDC. We'll have to revisit that. We get a corrected sheet with the $6,000 removed. And whatever they come back with for any other cuts and adjustments. Okay, let's move on. Conservation Commission budget.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were the Conservation Commission. I should have had you come earlier. I apologize.
Oh, what the? I knew where I was on the agenda. I could have showed up at 7 and been fine. I knew. You make your choices, right?
If I could just get you to introduce yourself for some of the new members.
Of course. Hi, I'm Lenore Clark. I'm the chair of the Conservation Commission. I drew the short straw for the past 6 years, and I think Justin's is the only face I don't recognize here. I think everybody else here knows me. So for a quick update for Justin, we are a volunteer board. We have 7 regular members, 3 alternate members. We have 1 select board representative and 1 part-time administrative staff. And collectively, we are responsible for roughly 1,000 acres in town. And that is by way of either the town owns a parcel and we help manage it, or it's privately owned and we hold a conservation easement on it. And some are maintained more, some are maintained less. And then we have trail systems on a few of the properties, excuse me. We review wetlands permits that come in and then advise DES or special use permits, and we advise the planning board. I have a whole bulleted list here of other projects we work on, but I can, bittersweet, exactly. Which I'll be, because I happen to be working on our 2025 annual report today. So I'm happy to go through that if you want, but it's getting long and I don't want to belabor the point.
Thank you. Okay, the 100 and 200 salaries and benefits. Is that like a recording secretary?
Correct.
Yeah, thank you. Any questions there? 400 series, other property services. Invasive species, I'm sorry, Bobby?
I just have a question, Lenore. Like on the 491, the invasive species, when Wentworth Watershed reaches out and they get funding for Goodwin Basin or something else, does that come out of this budget?
No, this is just for us to manage town-owned properties.
Okay, so that doesn't, so I'm sorry, I know you're in the audience, Linda, but can you explain that, how that works? Is that coming out of that other 10,000 that was in the other budget?
I don't understand what you're asking.
So like when Wentworth Watershed Association oversees like Goodwin Basin, and you guys pay them money to take care of the milfoil.
Okay, the milfoil is not under Conservation Commission. Milfoil was back in the other.
That's what I was
series.
asking, because
Okay,
there's a
we
separate.
send in contractors to do that on the different lakes,
Yeah,
okay? But that is not overseen by the Conservation.
that's why I'm asking, because they have Goodwin Basin.
So that's a parcel of land that's
Okay,
owned by the
and we
town.
do
So
the
when you're,
water.
yeah.
Thank
right,
you.
you're
I
dri-
was just trying
You're
to.
right, you call it Goodwin Basin, but we're actually talking about the land, not the basin
Not
itself.
the
That's a good
basin.
point. Yeah, I see where that's
Thank you,
confusing.
I appreciate that. It was two different invasive
Yeah.
things and two different budgets, just
Right.
trying to get it. Thank you.
How are we doing managing our invasive species?
We're making progress.
Okay.
We're making, I mean, I can't lie, when I go out at Front Bay Park and I can see some of the burning bush coming back this year, and I think, oh Lord. But it's, it's a struggle, but we are making progress. It's certainly a lot better than it used to be. And I know it's not an appropriate venue for a slideshow, but I have a really pretty picture of the way Front Bay Park looked from the rail trail in the fall. It looks gorgeous.
We don't use neonics, do we?
No, that would be for bugs, not for plants. When we say, and there are invasive bugs, but when our invasive species line, we've just been using it for plants, not for
Okay.
bugs.
Thank you. Any questions for 400s? No? Okay, let's go to 500s, which are the dues and subscriptions. New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commission, and the Moose Mountain Regional Greenway, and the New Hampshire Association of National Resource Scientists.
Yeah, I think that was a new one this year.
Yeah. Any questions about those memberships? 610, general operating supplies, wetland boundary markers, Conservation Commission, property boundaries, markers, hardware for markers, public hearings, notices and fees, safety tests, New Hampshire DES application, inspection, miscellaneous, office supplies, and envelopes, file folders, labels, and toner. And then we've got the, again, office supplies and postage. How many acres did you say we have?
It's roughly 1,000.
And that's all that's been donated to the town, or?
Or purchased, it's all, there's different mechanisms by
Okay.
which it comes to us, but
Okay, 800 series is the travel and meetings. And then we also have the professional development, which is the New Hampshire Association for Conservation Commission Conference, and Saving Special Place Conference. Any questions on those 800 series? Okay, so we've got a budget request, let me see here. $23,171, that's a $751 increase, or a total of 3.3% of the conservation budget from 2025, the default budget. Any questions at all on the conservation? Thank you for the work you folks do.
absolutely, happy to do it. It's a labor of love, and I do a lot more than that one thing. Paul. And thank you, folks, for your work. I hope you all have a good holiday.
You too, thank you. All right, now we're hitting the big budget, finance.
Go, Sam, go.
You want to do any introduction, Sam, or anything like that about how the year's gone since you've been here?
Interesting.
Interesting?
Lots to learn. Being
I-
a second default budget has been challenging, mostly just for, I don't have the history prior to a year ago, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that you play an important role because everyone comes to you with their budget questions and you have a lot of reporting requirements. Is there anything that you need that could be your job made easier or better? It
Launch
doesn't
it.
cost a lot of money.
Launch it.
You want a list?
Sam, now's your chance.
Santa's asking.
She has a 15-page PowerPoint for you.
No, she does, okay.
I will kick it off with Sam.
Okay,
Our software program is horrible. Horrible.
okay. What are we talking
It's
about? What's it
Unismart.
replacing? Unismart?
It's no longer supported, and it literally takes, depending on the day and the mood of the program, it can take an hour to run a simple report. And it does not generate anything to give us a good visual report. It does no analysis, and I will hand it to Sam on that.
Way to go, Jim.
It's just very old. I don't know how many, 20 years or so. But that was the biggest shock coming here is like, this is seriously what you use.
Oh, really?
I don't know, it's, the reporting, like Jim said, it kicks you out multiple times a day in the middle of doing something. Kind of control, delete, end it, log back in, start over.
Have you explored, Jim, different options, or?
We kind of looked out at a few different programs. The problem is it takes hundreds of hours to do a major software conversion.
Right.
I don't have that. My staff doesn't have that. It's just a huge undertaking. Plus, there's an initial cost up front to do so.
What's the program itself cost? Is it something you can lease or rent for 5 years and then have it all paid off, or?
I think the upfront costs ranged, I want to say anywhere from like, most of them are probably 50 to 150,000.
Okay.
And then there's just the annual cost, which we pay now to Harris for Unismart. Some of those annual fees weren't actually too much more than what we're paying. It's just the
Okay.
upfront
The
cost
initial.
would be.
What are your thoughts, Jim? Are you looking at this down the road, or what are you?
I think this is something that we have to tackle this coming year, without question.
2027 or 20?
Well, and that's the question, right? Hopefully by this time next year, we will have a bid opening that has taken place that will allow us to look at what our options for software are. We wanted to do it this year, but we just ran out of time.
Okay.
So, we had other bids that we had to get out because the contracts were ending. So we focused on getting those out and returned in a timely fashion, but this is one that we definitely have to tackle in 2026 with an eye on 2027. One of the things that I can say, I do recall when I was fire chief, the finance director at the time, we switched over the fire department management software. And we were actually able to do that under a software lease purchase program.
Okay.
And that's what Mr. Chamberlain did at that time, was a 3-year purchase of that program. So those options are out there. I don't know what the interest rates on those are today.
Right.
But this is, from a town management standpoint, this is a major, major problem that is having negative impacts on every department in town.
Okay. Bob?
Real quick, I guess we're gonna get to ITT after this,
Yeah.
right? Well, there's a line item in here that may address this. You got $16,233 for Unismart module support. That's the support for a system that we would just as soon throw out the window.
And when we call them, they're excellent to deal with. It's just their product is no longer supported, it's no longer upgraded, it's dying on the line.
Yeah. Okay.
It's VisiCalc.
Back to finance, I'll get to that when we get to
Okay,
ITT.
so we'll leave that in your hands, your folks' hands. So, got the 200 series, which is a salary and benefits, some benefits, not having including insurance. Any questions on those? Okay, let's go to the 200 series. This includes the payroll taxes, retirement, unemployment compensation, workers' comp, 300 series, audit services, consultants, communications, outside services.
Question,
Yes, sir?
301, big
We,
increase, I just.
yeah, we had to go out to bid. We were notified by our existing auditor that he could not offer his services beyond the 2024 audit. Just, he had one of his 4 person team retire over the summer. It sounded like they were scaling back. And he did make the comment that Wolfeboro is getting too big for his size firm.
So we're looking for.
So we went out
new
to bid, we got one firm that bid. They're called Clifton Larson Allen out of Northern Mass. I believe it's Andover, Massachusetts. The city of Portsmouth has been using them for a couple of years. Their finance director highly recommended them, had nothing but good things to say, and they were actually working on extending their contract. They've also signed on with the city of Manchester to begin next year. So they're coming into the New Hampshire field, but at a cost.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we're all set on the 300 series. Let's go to the 400 series, which is office equipment maintenance. Any questions there? No. 500 series, printing, dues and subscriptions and advertisement. 600, and there's no reliable office supplies and postage. And the 800 series, travel and meetings and professional development. And this budget represents a 3.38% increase for a total of 361. I'm sorry, my eyes are getting tired. 361,005. That everyone has. Okay, we're all set for finance. Okay, technology.
So this is another area where we've struggled the past couple of years as a town because of the default budget. The cost of hardware, software is continuing to increase. End of life, support of product is staring us in the face. So you'll see a fairly substantial increase in this budget. Mind you, that's because, again, this is default from 2 years ago, and we're trying to play catch up with this, and Sam will be able to explain a lot of it. And there's an item within here that she's going to want to table till the 30th as well.
Okay, so we've got 100 series. We have a part-time employee that is working, or?
We do not have an employee in this role anymore.
Okay. So the next one is the 200 series, which should be
Nothing.
nothing, okay? 300 series, communications, website maintenance, and outside services.
Questions?
Yes, sir.
Just one question. The block 5 phone thing, what is that? Just briefly, I guess.
We purchased our phone system through them, in the the monthly cost for the bulk of the phones. I know the Clark House is separate. I believe that's.
Is this where the money that's coming from all the other
Oh,
departments
yes,
is
I'm
ending up
sorry.
in here?
Yes, we
That's
centralized it in
I think my
IT,
question.
yeah.
Yeah, it is, and, you know, most of these, they previously were individual phone lines. We've now gone to the voice over internet protocol system 2 years ago. It was a complete overhaul of the system. The only places that still have the copper are Public Safety Building and Berry.
Thank you.
Okay, 400 series, computer maintenance, rentals and fees, rentals and leases.
So the 425 series.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna say, this block 5 that we show,
290, is that what you're looking at?
computer software and so on. 2025, 13,000, am I reading the right place? 26, 70,000? I'm reading on this page here. This here,
What line are you on?
huh?
What line is it?
She's reading 724.
620 in that vicinity, I think, wait a minute, 724.
Can you help us out on that, Jim?
Yeah, I see a number of computer software, previously in 425 above. But anyway, whatever we're paying them, we need to get our money back. It is, if we're talking about the town website that.
No, that's not the town
it isn't?
website, no.
Okay.
That's actually under.
When you come to the town website,
380.
it's terrible. I mean, and I'm the worst one to speak to it because I'm not good with a computer, but wherever that money is, I don't know how much it is, but something's gotta be done. I don't know, I don't even know where to tell you to begin or ask to begin. It's just not usable.
Is
Is
the town
that
website
380?
management under line 380?
380, yes.
Okay.
So,
Under line 380,
Okay,
Suzanne.
right there.
so what's included in that cost of
Thank you,
380?
380. You go to the site and it says unavailable, or then you go to look up history. You look up the history of past notices of decision. I mean, I'm talking from my board, but it's not there. It's gone. I don't know how to find it.
Is that just hosting or is that
Just
design?
posting, right?
So where does the design cost or maintenance of the website land?
I believe that's actually maintenance and hosting. We just did the big design and the bulk of that cost. Actually, I think that was
That was
end of
under last year's
2024.
budget.
Yeah.
6,700.
Okay, Jim, maybe you can look into that.
I can try.
We would need to have a person to maintain our website, and we had someone that was our IT person for $47,000 a year. We'd have to spend 80 to 100 to get somebody to really maintain our website as a full-time position and make it so that it was beautiful. And that's not where we are right now.
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes, Bobby.
Where did you get those numbers from?
My wife.
Oh.
She's done IT work for Shire Pharmaceutical, for major pharmaceutical companies, and she's a cybersecurity engineer for the last 25 years. So she understands.
Okay. Yeah, John, can I ask one more question?
Yes, please.
Jim, do you have numbers on that? Is that anything that you've explored just when that sort of system went over, and like, do we know how much data dropped off when we sort of re-implemented and we went over to the new system? Because I think most of the people in this room probably use the website, and we've all felt a little frustrated by this. Is there a certain amount of data they said didn't sort of mutate or
Populate,
populate, that's the word I wanted. Export.
export or populate.
I'm gonna have to get you answers on those questions. I know that there's a lot of frustration with the website. Unfortunately, it was a swing and a miss.
I have a
Suzanne, please.
Jim, do you, like, a lot of the history is just gone. So do you have a special site or something special in your computer that you don't have to worry about all of that on?
I am very website
Savvy.
I was gonna say illiterate.
I was trying to be
Okay, I'll just
50-50.
lay it out there. That entire function I'm completely illiterate on. It's a definite weakness on my part, and I've got to try to get more answers.
Should we start putting money away in capital reserve account for this upgrade if it's like $100,000? Should we not face the situation and deal with it?
And then we can have a community calendar. Perfect.
Paul?
Me,
Well-
please. I have an opinion. Maybe the website, but it also may be the file systems that are underneath it. And it may be what Sam talked to us about a few minutes ago, that says the file systems suck. It may be, if you want to look at how work gets done, if you went in and said, what does it take to get a building permit? And if you followed that process, you might find that checks sit in drawers, there's no follow-up systems, and all of that you can't populate on a website unless you have workflow underneath that. So the website, my personal opinion, Brian's wife may be more righter. My personal opinion is the website is nothing more than a visual representation of what it can grab. If the stuff it can grab, like in a carnival, if it keeps picking stuff up and it falls down, it's useless. So we can either say the website is a piece, or the file system underneath the website is a piece. And I would opt that it's the latter,
Correct.
not the former.
The Civic Plus is not used by just us. It's used by lots of municipalities. I think Meredith uses it. I believe they use the same thing. And their website works and functions just fine.
It's what's underneath.
Bobby?
May I just clarify that in no way our finance and our record keeping is touching our website at all. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get that out there because I
Could I-
want to
could I
make
just
sure we're
punctuate
not
that one, though?
mixing those two.
Could I add to that? If Jim or Sam gets a request for a piece of financial a piece of numbers,
Yeah.
they will go to Unismart, they'll pull a file,
Yeah.
and then they'll take that file and they'll open an Excel spreadsheet, and then they'll manufacture the answer on an Excel spreadsheet, okay? That's how the workflow kind of works.
Yeah.
And God forbid you ask for a pie chart or something else, because then you gotta do something else. That amount of workflow worked really well in the 1900s. I'm not being
Yeah.
smart-ass about it. Yes, I am being smart-ass about it. It worked well, and it doesn't work anymore. We will be buried by our own asks for data. We'll be buried. And we can't do that.
I just was clarifying that no one out there thought that our finance department was being run through our webpage, that we do have security
Yes, we
systems
do.
in place. That's all.
Okay, let's move on.
Bob's got a question.
Bob?
Sam or Jim, has anybody at this point got a ballpark number of what it's going to take to get a third party in here to evaluate our system to determine what needs to be done? I know it's going to be expensive, but has anybody started that process?
When you say systems, are you talking about the financial management software that
I'm
we were
talking about
discussing?
this whole mess we've got, the whole Unismart not talking to this one, the website can't talk to that file.
Right.
You gotta get everything put together. Has anybody addressed that problem, or are you going to? Do we have a clue as to what it would cost?
no clue as to what it's gonna cost.
Well, maybe we ought to get somebody in here to tell us what it would
I
cost
know.
us.
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I just think.
Bob.
we're-
Can- Just the Block 5 contract and maintenance, what specifically, is that hardware or is that systems?
That's essentially our IT department. We do have a person from Block 5 on site, one day every other week. Other than that, anything happens technology related. You open a ticket with them and you're getting a phone call, usually within the hour, and you work with them to help. We just went out to bid for IT services in the fall. And Block 5 came in the lowest, just barely. But the increase for them isn't reflected in here, so that was the line item I was gonna ask to revisit, because it's even higher than this.
You have the new figure?
Yes.
What line item did you want to put anything?
The computer maintenance portion of Block 5, the contracted maintenance, right now it's showing as $10,105 a month. For 2026, the monthly cost is gonna be $11,182. For an annual increase of $12,923.
What line again was that?
425.
425.
425, like 2/3 of the way down.
Yep.
But it's not within their purview or their contract to do anything that Mr. O'Brien mentioned, or connecting the dots, they don't do.
They would help us.
They would help us. Might
But
be the
that's like a
cost.
big project that would need a scope to do.
Correct.
This is them dealing with all of our existing servers and softwares, hardware at the different facilities. The other thing, as Sam alluded to, you know, that we do pay a premium for a 24/7, 365 callback based on the fact that we operate a 24-hour, 365 dispatch center. Our electric department, those infrastructures
That's all under that line.
need to be able to have that technology operating, and if there's any snafus, you know, we pay that premium for that
I have a question.
service.
Hold on, Paul, did you have a comment?
So it's connectivity, it's firewall, it's hardware, it's Microsoft 365. If I show up with a special piece of software, they won't put it on the system. Maybe they do, I don't think so. So it's that kind of basic stuff. You know, I can't log on to the website, you know, you can launch a ticket, but beyond that, writing software, programming, financial support, I don't think that's in the wheels. It's not in there. It's basic hardware, software, and services.
Suzanne?
Yeah, how long is this contract for?
3 years.
How many?
3.
Bobby?
So I just want to be clear, that 2,800 you just gave us, that was per month, so we're really talking $33,600 about. Is that what you're,
2,800.
well, you just said it's going from 10,000 to the 12,923?
12,923 is the annual increase.
Oh, and, okay,
Yes.
not,
It went from
okay.
10,105 to 11,182.
Just because we had talked about the
Yeah.
10,
Yes.
and then right next to it, it says quantity 12. So I
months,
just
yes.
wanted to be clear, we're not talking about 33,000. Thank you.
Yep.
Not done.
The other portion of their contract is affected on line 724. Our Office 365, Adobe, all of those major softwares, Block 5 kind of handles for us. Here's the bill. We get a monthly bill from Block 5. So that portion is reflected there. And that also is going up from $1,833 to $1,927 a month. And that annually comes out to be $1,129 increase. And those costs are set by the software companies themselves. It's nothing determined by Block 5.
And that was one of the reasons why we went with Block 5 as well. They identified these increases where one of the other providers that was close didn't identify those increases. So we will have an updated sheet for you on this.
Okay, because
So
probably,
that's
we
clean.
need to do a motion to add those funds
You
to
can
it.
do that now, or
I was gonna make the motion, but I just want clarification. That line is just, the one you're talking about, 10,105, and there's a quantity of 12 and a total of 121,261, am I correct?
Correct.
Correct line?
Yes, that's the correct line.
So it needs to have, from what you're saying, the number wants to go from 10,105 to what?
11,182.
I would make a motion to change the line for Block 1, contract and maintenance on line 425 of Department 41990 to what's the number again?
11,182.
11,182.
I'll second
Second, okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Bobby Budman,
Yes.
Bob Loman.
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan,
Yes.
John McDonald.
Yes.
Justin
Yes.
Brown, Bob Mahoney.
that. Yes.
Brian DeShane.
Yes.
And what's the next one, Sam?
The next one's line 724 for the Block 5 Microsoft Office 365. And that's going from 1,833 a month to 1,927.
Make a motion to change.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, the motion is to change line 724 to $1,927. Roll call, please.
Bobby Budman,
I just want to clarify on that. We're, line 724
Correct.
is going up by 1,129. So what is the overall number? Because the motion we're making would
Oh, sorry,
technically
yeah.
cut that line down to that number. We're increasing that line. So what is the number we're increasing it to?
I'm gonna make the motion again.
Thank you.
Restate my motion. I move in line 724 of Department 41990, line 2, Block 5, Microsoft Office, including Adobe, the $1,833 number to $1,927.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Bobby Budman,
Yes.
Bob Loman.
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan.
Yes.
John McDonald.
Yes.
Justin Brown,
Yes.
Bob Mahoney.
Yes.
Brian DeShane.
Yes.
7-0.
I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so it seems obvious that mostly everyone in this room that has the ability to do something about this recognizes there's a problem with our overall computer system, for lack of technically saying correctly what it is. Is it beyond the scope of this board or committee to, at the end of this process, make a recommendation that perhaps a capital reserve account be established to address this? Because I'm hearing big number to fix this after, and we should be looking at it after this contract expires, or the contracts related to this expires, to be prepared to improve upon it. This is a foundation of how the town functions. Every department uses computers. The finance department is heavily dependent upon expert computer abilities. It's a big hole.
So is the public. The public depends upon.
So I don't know, I guess I'd ask the question of the chairman, can you find out if we have the
I'd like to know
ability.
what your thoughts are, Jim, on how to proceed. You're the town manager, what are your thoughts?
So, I'm hearing fractured ways of the problem that is going on. And I think we have a holistic issue that is very problematic. Last year, Casey had originally teed up a capital reserve fund for technology. Didn't make the muster because we had big numbers that we were dealing with. We again this year have big numbers that we are dealing with. And I can't in good conscience this year sit there and say we bring forward the creation of a capital reserve fund or an expendable trust for this purpose at this time. I believe that we've got a real problem with our Unismart system. That needs to be corrected for staff workflow. The webpage, I'm hearing mixed reviews on it, and it appears that I'm hearing more complaints and accolades about it. How to fix that? I'm going to have to do some serious pondering on how to do that, and talk to people who know a heck of a lot more about it than what I do. Is this a year to throw money at something that we don't know the solution to? I don't think that's, I think I've heard loud and clear enough from the voters in this town that if you don't have a comprehensive program to come forward with, the voters aren't going to vote for it. And I can't sit here between now and February 10th and wrap my head around this well enough to be able to sit there in front of the voters and speak intelligently enough on this topic to get the voters to buy in to support it. So, unless I'm directed to do otherwise by my bosses, I'm not tackling that at this point.
Thank you, Jim.
And I think the takeaway is the stewards of the warrant are the selectmen. Not me, not you. It's the select board.
Bob, did you have a question?
Yeah, how much money did we spend upgrading the website? Do you remember off the top of your head what that was?
It was like 15,000, is that right?
There's a question about Unismart when she's doing that, or
Bob
not
had a
cross
question.
questions?
Bob had a
Oh,
question.
sorry, go ahead.
Bob?
While she's doing that, I don't think anybody's talking about spending the money in the 2026 budget. I think the question is, are we in a position prepared to get somebody with expertise from the outside to come and look and listen to all the problems that we've been talking about here, to ascertain what it is we could do, not this year, obviously not this year. There's no way you're going to be able to come up with anything for this year's budget or this year's warrant. But we need to do something. We need to start the ball rolling, and I think that's the point.
Yes.
Is to get the ball rolling somehow. And maybe it's spending some consulting money. I don't know what it is. You guys are the keepers of the flame. All I'm saying is I think the ball needs to get rolling, and it's going to take an ad hoc committee or something else to get it going, that's fine too. But I think, you know, not to this year's warrant, obviously, because it's too big a problem. But we need to get the ball rolling to determine what it is we're gonna do to solve the problem. That's, I think,
Bob?
Just to isolate the muni spark, because it seems like you want to do something like right away with that one. Is the only option is to have a software-based system, or is there a cloud-based option? Or maybe you don't know that.
A lot of them are cloud-based.
Or-
There's different ones out there. And Bobby, the implementation for the new website is $13,545.
Thanks.
Okay, let's finish up IT. 700 series, computer software, computer hardware, furniture fixtures. 800 series is training. I won't state what this number is because this number is incorrect because we made some changes for 2026. You guys have the new
I have the new number.
okay.
351,711.
Okay, that's what I have on my sheet right now.
Oh, I printed wrong way. $365,763.
365, 763.
May I ask one more question?
Sure.
Under computer maintenance 425, the select board cut 10,000. That's not going to be to the detriment of any system, is it? It'd be going the wrong way, right? I mean, is that just is that to something specific, or is that?
So that was a generalized cut that was made in this budget when the board asked me to try to cut a certain amount out of the budget. You know, the fact of this one is, you know, we know every year that we have turnover, that we have change in staff, which allows us some flexibility. The thought process was, okay, we take 10 grand here, and if we have to do a line item transfer to fulfill something, we would do that. But, you know, everybody took a hit on that revisit of the budget to make those cuts for what the board wanted for a budget.
Okay, we've completed our budget review for this evening. Any other business?
I have some follow-ups quickly. I don't know if it was discussed earlier, but we talked about fulfilling this position last time. Was that discussed before I got here tonight?
What position you
The position for Harold Parker.
That was discussed. It should be in this week's grant.
I believe it's supposed to be in this week's grant.
And it was explained that it's appointed by this committee,
Yeah.
because last time it was thought that a moderator would appoint
Yeah, that was
it.
for the open, at-large person.
Correct. Well, that's if your budget committee, based on 32-15-7, if your budget committee is appointed by a moderator reappoints a missing position. If your budget committee is elected officials, the person is replaced by the budget committee.
That's exactly what we're doing.
Okay. And for the bonds, for drinking water, it is 2% for 5 years and up to 4.152% for 20 to 30 years. That's the bonds now. For clean water, it's 25% of the market rate for a 5-year bond term, up to 80% of the market rate
for a 20-year bond, but it has to be a 2% minimum. So if the market rate is 3 or 4, you can't get 1. You just can't get it that low. And just for information for everyone, the events calendar for December has Santa's Hut on it, which, yes, is a chamber sponsored event, but was also approved by the select board as a special event permit. And most of our special event permits that we take and approve go on that chamber calendar.
No.
The farmer's market that's held at Abenaki was another one that's on there. That's not a chamber one. And last night, which is supported by the EDC, is another event that goes on the chamber calendar, and that's not sponsored by Parks and Rec or anything, but it was approved by the select board by a special event permit. So the calendar doesn't do just Parks and Rec and doesn't do just chamber events. It does all of the special event permits, or a lot of them, that are approved by the select board for nonprofits that come before us.
Okay. Any other business?
Can I just open the floor to one thing, John? And this is not in any way, shape, or form. I'm not making a motion or anything, but I think that we need to start talking as a budget committee on how we get this budget passed and how at the deliberative, how we actually speak to the citizens of this town and how we move forward and proceed, having a voice out there that we can present this budget in a way that people understand, that they can clearly and easily visually see, clearly and easily hear. And I think as a committee, we should have an honest conversation about how we can do that. And I'm not asking for it tonight, especially because we don't have most of our members here, and I think that it should happen while most of our members are here. But I do believe that how we present this warrant is very important this year.
I think it's also important that as a budget committee, we support the budget entirely. And not be upset if something that you want to take out doesn't pass. That doesn't mean you ruin the entire budget just because of that. So hopefully we can we all get on board and get a workable budget that everyone will accept.
Well, I'd like to speak to that.
Certainly.
When you say as a budget committee, we should support the budget, will you define that for me?
Whatever you think is reasonable. If you lose a vote, you want something cut, and it doesn't get cut, I would hope that you wouldn't tank the whole budget because of that one particular thing that wasn't cut.
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
That kind of philosophy falls into place for the capital improvements program. If there's one thing you don't like in capital improvements, does that mean you vote down the capital improvements program?
Nope.
I hear what you're saying, but when you made me question that, because clearly this is this committee's budget.
Mm-hmm.
And I would expect that we, to take a note from what Bobby said, we have an open date on January 8th. And I would think maybe that's the time that we could take as a committee to decide how we want to couch this budget and present it so that it's understandable in simple lay terms for somebody that never picks up a town report, that goes to the polls and can't understand what they're seeing, that we figure out how to present it at the deliberative session that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
In simple terms, clear, loud and clear. So I would ask that we consider that open date of January 8th for a roundtable discussion.
We'll have to do it way before then because we have to do the town report. So we should.
The town report is not tied to how you present this budget that you put together to the public, to people that night at the deliberative.
Okay, so we're using the graphs or anything.
It's a separate
Okay.
function.
Great, thank you. Okay, anything else? Public comment?
John,
Yes,
are
ma'am.
we gonna skip over minutes, or are we doing?
We're doing any minutes after public comment. Public comment?
I'd like to talk about the town calendar.
Can you come up closer so I can hear you? I'm sorry.
I'd like to talk about the town calendar. In 2019, I was on the master plan committee where we actually designed and made a plan for a community calendar, broader than a town calendar. And it was going to not just be fed by the town, but nonprofits as well. It was going to be done by an outside source. We priced it. It could have been done for under $6,000, and that died. It went to the EDC, I guess, in the master plan implementation, and nothing happened. And here we are, 6 years later. And the growth that a good calendar provides for an overall community is unbelievable. It helps nonprofits, it helps taxpayers, it helps everybody. And nobody's going to go to the chamber website to look at a calendar if they're coming to town. I wouldn't. So just wanted to make, there was a plan. It probably hit the cutting room floor in the master plan, but I've tried to dig it out. I can't seem to find it. Somebody has it. Jim, does Primex offer loss ratio, loss prevention reports? How are our losses looking in the risk management area? Workers' comp, lawsuits, third-party lawsuits, accidents, workers' comp. Do they offer those resources? Because that's going to help you plan how your insurance costs are going to go.
Mr. Chairman, can I respond?
Yes, sure.
So yes, they will provide those things to us. The fortunate thing that we've had for the past 3 years is we signed a contract with them that gave us a 9% increase over a 3-year period, and we were locked into that rate for a 3-year period. They no longer offer.
I think I understand why.
Exactly. They no longer offer that. So, yes, Michelle has all of that data with her.
So I'm talking third-party lawsuits, things, under your liability program, property damage issues, vehicle stuff. Michelle has all that?
Michelle has all that.
So that's going to tell you what...
The trend.
Yes, it's going to tell you the trend, and it's also, you can reach out and say, hey, we're having a problem here, help us. Because I'm impressed with Primex from what I've seen, and they may be able to help you with loss prevention. Okay. I totally agree with Bob and Suzanne about a holistic approach to the whole underpinnings of the IT situation, because I was told somewhere along the line that the department managers were charged with uploading archival and key documents to the website, and those of us that used to go in there and look for those things are, just, we're giving up. And if that's what you want us to do, I don't think that's a great way to run the rodeo. So anyway, in my personal opinion, sometimes historical documents are really helpful. I didn't hear any questions from the budget committee about the employee, the Wolfeboro Town employee that is at the chamber, and I'm curious how that benefits taxpayers and what the rationale is behind that. And let's see, I think that's it. But thank you for your hard work. There's a lot on the table.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public comment?
Yeah, I'll just when I asked Amy about why I couldn't find things on the website, what Ann said is absolutely true. When we turned over, our data didn't come into the new program, and they have to upload it. We also have links that don't work, because when you hit search, you can't find anything. And that is something that one of our staff, when they have time, not doing all the other stuff, have to fix those links. So we've got to get the data on and we have to fix the links. So that's the problem. Next time when we do it, we should make sure all our data comes to the new program.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Yeah.
So there was discussion during the meeting about priorities, and I would say that technology is a definite priority, and the idea that we're going to put it off because it's too much or too big is a mistake, particularly in the context of serving the public, and the website couldn't be more abysmal. And for the $50,000 or whatever it is we paid, I don't know what the contract read as, but some of the infrastructure that exists, obviously, because if you look at the Meredith website, it's all right there. They have some, it seems to me, responsibility for assisting us in getting that transferred over. And I don't know, again, how the contract reads, but we should be following up on that and not letting them off the hook entirely by blaming it on us and however the links were functioning or not functioning. Because there's no way that there should be a website that they were responsible for bringing our data into that doesn't, the search function doesn't work at all. Zero. Zippo. There's just no way that that's a fulfilled contract. So, and that needs to be done now, not next year or the year after that. We were promised a website. We've been anticipating a website that was going to be more robust and workable, and we have less than we had before. And so, and on top of it, we now know that it is a weak point in our staff. It is not something our staff has the capacity apparently to do. And therefore, we should be identifying how we're going to address that problem now. Not next year and 3 years down the road. Now, we need to do that. You've been talking about how to make the whole janitorial system work more efficiently. This is as critical, if not more critical, to be addressing as the janitorial efficiencies. At least the buildings are getting cleaned. In this case, nothing is happening to improve that website that I can tell. And if the software that we're using for doing financial management, which is absolutely essential and critical to the core functioning of our town, is not functioning properly and is no longer supported and is cumbersome and is consuming an inordinate amount of our time, there's absolutely no justification that that should not be right there in front of us as being how we're going to address. And again, not the fact that we have staff people whose time is sunk into doing something that takes an hour that should be taking a minute or 10 minutes is a ridiculous place for us to be. So we have short-term needs, we have medium-term needs. If an ad hoc committee, and God forbid me for saying that we need another friggin' committee in this town, but the energy committee seemed to be such a success. We know we have talent out there and knowledge in our community, and if it takes an ad hoc committee to help us move our technology forward, given the fact we don't have the staff capacity, then, you know, choose that option as a medium-term solution. But we have got some things that have to be solved now, some things that can be addressed over the next months, and some things that we can look at in the future, whether it be a capital reserve fund. But it is not something that sits on the sidelines and waits for somebody to jump up and down. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes. Our meeting's still open?
What's that?
Our meeting's
I'm
still
going to
open
close
here?
public comment.
Oh.
You want it? I'm going to close public comment. Go ahead and make your statement.
Are we done with public comment?
Yeah, then we're going to do minutes.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we move from the executive 41301, that $13,000 for the chamber staff, into technology to put that salary towards upgrading and fixing, having an employee when we talk about communication, because that is communication. Use that $13,000 to update our website, because as our select member Murray just pointed out, that we have to have an employee do it on our end. In that, and I'm not sure if that needs to go into technology or if that can stay in the executive, the 41301 line. I don't know if that has to move to technology or if it stays, but that 13,000 for the chamber, that is my motion, that we move that $13,675.
Is there a second?
Well, I see where she's moving it
Is there a
from.
second?
Well, wait a minute, I see where she's moving it from, but I don't know where she's moving it to, so I'm not ready to make a second. Can you tell me where you're moving it to?
I need advice on whether that could stay in the executive or if that would have to move to technology, because either way, when I look at that, we're talking about that is supposed to be a communications position, and if that's a communications position, I don't know if that needs to move to technology to update the technology on our website, or if that stays in the executive.
So let's make a motion to table that until we find out more information.
Great. Well, I didn't make the motion hasn't been seconded yet, so you don't have to table it.
Can Sam, can you help her out where that should be moved to, if it were to be moved?
So you're looking to, I guess, hire a part-time person to manage.
So I would like, we already have a part-time person in, that's under 41301 in the executive for communications for this town.
Correct.
I would like to, I don't know if that salary needs to be moved to technology. As Select Member Murray said, that we have to have an employee who goes in and moves that communication. That is.
One employee, I said employees.
No, I know that, yeah. Yeah, no, but we have to fix our communications in this town, and I don't know if that executive person for communications needs to be moved to technology, or if it can stay in that role.
I think it could go either place.
I'm just asking as a budget committee member, and I'll make a motion in the future if it has to be moved. If it doesn't have to be moved, then at that point, it just has to be that we're asking that someone actually has to go before, I think, the select board at that point and ask if we can use our communications line for that position.
So you're not moving a person, you're moving money.
I'm moving money.
All right, so leave the person out of it. Just take the money from the.
Well, the money's attached to a person, a communications
No, it
person.
isn't. It's money. It's money. It's not, we're not physically moving a person. You'll be eliminating a person.
So we have no motion? Move on. Look at the
That's
minute.
it. Yeah, all right, go ahead.
Minutes of October 28th.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of October 28th, November 17th, and November 20th.
Hold on, that's a correction.
Okay.
Page 2, section C, last paragraph.
Which day, Bob?
Page 2, section C.
Of the October meeting?
Yes. Bottom of the paragraph there. It says refurbished ambulance, should say refurbished stretcher. You don't want that out there.
Sorry, would you say that again? I couldn't hear you.
Should say refurbished stretcher.
I'll amend my motion to say as amended, as corrected.
Any other changes? And any of the minutes, which we're talking about October 28th, November 17th, and November
20th.
20th. Can I get a second to Sylvia's motion, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? A roll call vote, please. This would be to approve the minutes of October 28th, November 17th, and November 20th.
Roll call vote for that?
Yep.
Okay.
Can we have a little bit of this before you vote? I have one question.
Yeah.
All the revisit items that are in these minutes, will they, are they going to appear on December 30th and we're going to cover them?
They should be, yep.
Then fine. Okay, go for the vote.
Oh, Bobby Budman?
Yes.
Bob Lohman?
Yes.
Suzanne Ryan?
Yes.
Joe McDonald?
Yes.
Justin Brown? Bob Mahan?
Yes.
And Nick Jones?
Yes.
7.
Okay, next meeting is tomorrow. We advise, remember that it's at the Public Safety Building.
That's good.
Jim, if I can talk to you before you leave, and take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.